back, everybody, to the Sim Grid for the Sim Grid Endurance Cup here from Monza. Chaz Draycott here in the commentary box with Kyle Lawrence and Connall Courtney joining me as well. We've just had a brilliant qualifying session that was over in a flash, and the guys are now ready to jump into the race. Of course, a 3-hour race ahead of us here this afternoon, and the conditions, Kyle, compared to qualifying, looking a bit murkier and a bit darker here, so maybe the cooler temperature is going to be a bit easier on the tyres.
Yeah, I think that's something that they can hope for over an endurance period. They lose over 30 seconds on a tyre change, so be able to do a driver swap and fuel up without having to put on a new set of tyres saves you 30 seconds. Whether or not the degradation of the tyres loses you more time over those that are put on a new set it remains to be seen. But at least we're not sitting at over 40-degree track temperatures at the moment, so a little bit cooler and a little bit easier on both engines and tyres.
And we've gotten information as well from Michael Hamlet, of course, that we may get rain just to throw a bit of spice in the mix of this one, Connall. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, as if 3 hours strategy plan between 2 or 3 drivers isn't enough, we have the potential of rain, of course. The dynamic weather in ACC is phenomenal. If you followed us for the first round of the Sprint Cup, you will have seen that. Yeah, so just another dynamic and another possible challenge that these guys have to deal with.
And of course, 3 classes in this one as well. We've got the Pro, Pro-Am and Silver. So each team is only in their own class, essentially. If, for example, one of the Silver cars is battling one of the Pro-Ams and they need to try and move up the order in the race, it's not going to gain them any extra points. So you may see some of them just think, right, I'm just going to stick behind here, maybe save a bit of fuel in the long run as well. And yeah, I've just... Oh, the Aston just bounces off the wall. That's a big hit both ways there. I've just seen as well, someone in the YouTube chat actually put there's a few poor guys who I guess don't know that these practice tyres are the ones you use in the race, LMAO. And to be honest, Kyle, I think that's the case as well, because Michael's just pointed that out as well.
Yeah, I actually had, well, that's information to me as well. So the tyres they're running in pre-practice now will be the tyres that they have to race on. So doing thousands of laps on these isn't going to be the greatest idea. So maybe just set it out, wait to see what happens on track, and you know, if there are setup changes you want to change and test, go do that, but don't pin it in the wall on that on that lap.
Yeah, I think this is Azat Shahin. This is his way of showing us, look, I promise you, FIA, there's other SRO. I'm sorry. There's definitely nothing wrong with our engine. We've not messed with it. It's a nice way of showing us in the bonnet. Unfortunately, everybody, at the moment, as we look from the helicam, you can see the McLaren lights flashing there. This is going to be a bit of a stationary moment or so, because these guys are all going to be sitting thinking, nah, we ain't using these tyres. Azat is the only one at the moment that's bothered to do that. But just going back to qualifying, though, of course, we had a very interesting session. Gregor Schill just missing out on pole position, but it was Cruiser, wasn't it, Connall, that managed to grab pole once again in the sim grid, and it's something that he's got quite the habit for, it seems.
Yeah, absolutely no surprise with Cruiser. He is the pole hound. He looks for it, as Kyle pointed out to me the first race that I commentated. Watch out for this guy, and ever since he has proved to be a pole hound. Interesting to see, though. You know, we've a lot of top guys. You've seen these guys in races previous. It'd be interesting to see their teammates, who of course will still be fast guys, but the pressure is on. If you're leading, if your teammate has left you with a winning car and you have to maintain that lead when someone's hunting you down, or vice versa, you have to hunt time that has been lost in the first stint or second stint, you really, it's a different dynamic mentally to deal with than just a normal sprint race.
Definitely, really is, and there's a lot more riding on it as well. I mean, if anyone in the sim racing world has done an endurance event where, you know, you've got guys in your team that are relying on you as well, whether it be 3 hours, 6 hours, 12, 24, there is a lot of pressure on. And I think for these guys to soak up all of that are near the front for most of the race is going to be very exciting to see. And of course, as we alluded to earlier on the qualifying stream just at the end, the strategies are going to be very important for the guys further down the order in this one, aren't they, Kyle? Because they're going to need to try and just have one over on the guys ahead, get a bit of clear air, maybe a bit of track position after the first set of stops. But it's easier said than done, though, because you can never guarantee what the guys around you are going to do, can you?
Yeah, 100%. You can never plan for a first lap. first lap's always, take it as it comes and see what you get. We see a car moving there, maybe wanting to go out. Nope, not going out. But it's difficult because of the way things change so quickly on the first lap. You could find yourself moving up the field or even find yourself moving from the front to the back of the field. So difficult thing to do. And these cars on cold tires aren't very easy to drive. So now you've got the pressure of 2 other drivers waiting to get back in the car. You've got to hand over a car to them in a decent condition. You want to try and find time and find space on the track and find position. So there's a lot of pressure to go in with that as well. And then on top of that, you need to be the first one to make the call in terms of setup, especially being the first one in the car. So a lot of these guys are in communication with each other, be it over Discord throughout their 3 hours or their stint. So you've got to hand this car back over to them in a reasonable condition. You've got them talking to you. You've got to plan strategies, and all the same while trying to race 30 odd other drivers on the track. It's a lot to deal with.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of aspects to this, and with it being a longer race, it's that bit tougher with the fact that they have to do it for so long as well. Yeah, as Michael said, the reason that we're in the pits. Michael, by the way, is behind the scenes at the moment. He's in the commentary box with us, but he's just handling all the information and the race direction, doing a good job as always. So we are very grateful for Michael and all of his efforts. We're transitioning to the race in 3 minutes' time, everybody. So don't you worry about that. Just hang around with us for just a moment. Humberto Maggietti there in the 666 car. That Mano Lima Esports McLaren looks absolutely stunning in the sort of teal chrome, which I'm a big fan of. He's not actually going to be 17th on the grid, I believe. He was a lot further down in qualifying from that. He was, when we first looked at him, he was actually, I think, second to last or third to last. So when we go through the grid in a moment anyway, we will let you know of the order. So again, don't you worry everybody, just be patient. Rain though, Connall, I mean, we've already said the weather in a set of Corsa Competizione is brilliant, but how do you reckon these drivers are going to react to it? I mean, we've seen how close they are in qualifying and the talent that they've got, but it's easier said than done when the rain comes out to make the strategy work.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to how their risk management, how far do you gamble? If you're too conservative, you could lose bucket loads of time compared to guys who may be taking more chances. But again, you take those chances, you're running a higher risk of ending it for your team, or at least ruining your chances of a good result. So very difficult. These guys they can't focus on the weather right now. For all they know right now, it's good. They can only deal with what they are in control of. For the next 30 minutes, it looks not so bad. Track grip is at optimum. Track temperature is nice and warm. So yeah, these guys just have to focus on the present.
We'll have to see how they adapt then as the race goes on. You can just see to the left of the shot there as well. That's Hannes Nord in the number 76 Sim RC Aston Martin. I believe that Sim RC had another car out there as well. I believe they had a Porsche in this race as well. We'll have to have a scan through. Of course, don't forget, I mean, myself as well as Luke and sorry, not Luke, Kyle. Sorry, mate. That's a good way to start off, isn't it? There you go. I've already given them the wrong name. Kyle and Connall. We will be getting used to liveries, cars, names, and everything over the course of the season. There are some familiar faces that we've seen in other races before, of course. I mean, I remember watching Gregor Schill in the Ferrari, which is currently doing some Discovery Channel stuff with the Bentley. Gregor was amazing in the Coach Dave tournament finals and running second and first most of the race, battling for the lead, and then had his internet drop out, but even after like 20 minutes not in the race, he still came back and completed the race. And we gave him a hell of a lot of respect for that, because it was such an inspired thing to do. And I'm excited to see how Gregor gets on in this one as well. Now, of course, there's a championship to think about for these guys now, Kyle. So, or should I call you Luke from now on? Just the fact that there's a championship on the line, there's a lot more to think about than just this one race, isn't there? You've got to think big picture.
I think we're going to see a lot more risks in the first round than we will throughout the championship. You can go with Skywalker if you want. Let's skip Luke and go straight to Skywalker there.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be a lot more risk in the first round than what we would have seen, than we will see throughout the championship. 4 rounds in the championship. So the guys will be going at it hammer and tongs to get as much points haul in the first round as they can. I don't think anybody's going to go in terms, and take it easy as we see a car Bentley out on circuit. Then obviously just going to go test some setup changes that they've made to that car. You don't want to do too many laps on the tires you're going to have to race on. But yeah, I would expect more, elbows out racing in the first round than what we probably will see towards the end of this championship.
Yeah, just the guys trying to give themselves as much momentum as the series gets started, because if you're on the back foot going into the middle of the season or a bit later in the season, then it's going to get more and more difficult, and you're going to have a bit more pressure up against you as the championship goes on. So we'll see. But yeah, this is Stavros Konstantinidis in the No Limit Motorsport Bentley, and of course No Limit at the moment is what he hopes that there was for the tyre choices, but this is going to be the set of tyres that they use for the race. So he's thinking, well, we need to make sure that the setup is how we want it. We need to do those laps. So No Limit Motorsport going for that. They're in the silver category as well, by the way. Don't forget there is Pro, Pro-Am and silver. So only 2 cars have set times in the practice session. That's Rossetti and Sheehan. Sheehan, who we saw putting it in the wall before Connall, just pushing the limits a bit hard. And when you're used to sort of pushing all the way through a race, all it can take is one tiny mistake, a bit too much eagerness on the throttle, and it can change everything in this, can't it?
Yeah, and that's where the different dynamic of endurance racing comes in. It's the best way to describe it would be that I've seen drivers describe it before as you're not at 100% a la sprint race, you're at 99%. But I mean, the difference between 100% and 99% is so minuscule, and that's why the best endurance drivers are the best, is because they understand where that 100% is, and they can just drop that back, their pace back, their feeling back, and the way they're pushing. So yeah, it's interesting. I mean, there's guys that can just sit on a pace, give them a lap time, and they'll sit on it and do it lap after lap after lap. And then you have guys who are better suited for 30-45 minute races at that maximum pace.
Well, now is going to be the test of the mettle for these boys, and I'm very excited to see how we get on. So we've got Zachary Royal on pole position, then alongside him on the front row in the Ferrari there is Gregor Schill. We'll give you a bit of a different view. There's the 2 Porsches on the second row. That's Chris Hoker and Nico Solman. Then Martin Laurent and Igor Ogorodnikov, I think that's how Michael said it earlier.
That's Mira's beautiful.
Ogorodnikov. Thank you, Kyle. Joachim Stensnes and Lucas Arujo will be on the 4th row, but Lucas not taking to his spot yet. He's still in the pits. Then we have Killian Ryan Meenan, waiting for Connall to squeak in the background. Alex Leaf will be 9th. And then we have Andre Felix alongside... Alex Leaf and Andre Felix. Dean Vella will then be alongside Arthur Czarnecki. Then we have Sam Cairns and Thomas Schmeiter. Sebastian Handler and Michael Copra will be on the 8th row of the grid, with Niels van de Kokelt. Then it's Lucas Rommel, a name that I've seen before in the Porsche there, number 137 Porsche. Then it's Wolf Matuszka. Brilliant name that. We were discussing that beforehand, and he's definitely standing out in the number 26 Audi there. Looks like one of the Racing Point liveries, the famous BWT liveries that we see in a lot of different motorsports now. He's alongside Dominic Tower in the... Dominic Tower is actually alongside Paul Diedrich in the Bentley. No, Paul Diedrich's in the Lexus. Get it the right way around, Chaz. We'll get there one day, everyone. Sorry, chat. Menno van der Molen then, with Hannes Nord in the Aston Martin on his right-hand side. Then it's Vincenzo Rossetti and Nicholas Hillebrand in 25th. Then we have Timo Braun, Stavros Konstantinidis in the Bentley there, the big red beefy Bentley. Philip Matzik is going to be behind them, with Rory Davis. Team Cool Boys choosing to have the number 1 on their car, and I mean, we've already said, Connall, that's going to put a bit of a target on their back, isn't it, with overconfidence maybe?
Yeah, I actually have first-hand experience having won a national title. I went away to race in another series, and then I came back for a couple of races. Thought this would be a great photo op, have the number 1 plate on when I'm racing in this series. No pressure, I'm not fighting for the championship, I can just go out. But I tell you, I have never been more nervous, because the pressure of that number 1 plate is significant.
Yeah, indeed. There certainly is. It's a bit of an important number in motorsport, isn't it, to say the least. We then have Hind Saig in 30th with Mika Novakovsky. Then it's Tim Troche and Lucas get it right, Chaz. Lucas Sprisansky. Then we have the 2 red Aston Martins of Miguel Ramos and Jordi Diaz. And behind him is Ryan Whitlock, another name that I've seen before, Madhouse Racing NA, and Tony McCoffervan, if I've got that right. Kyle knows a bit more about that one than I do. There's a bit of a decent story there, isn't there, actually, Kyle?
Yeah, it was. He actually dropped me a Discord message after Thursday night's race just to say, McCoffervan. See, now I'm doing it. McCoffervan is not actually his real surname. It's a French surname, and it directly translates to off oven. So he made a bit of a pun of it and turned it into McCoffervan. So quite an interesting surname, man.
And we have said that we hope this evening, or this afternoon at least, he will be cooking on gas. So we'll see how he gets on. Humberto Maghetti still remains to be my favourite name on the grid. That just sounds it's a proper race driver name. Then it's Joey Teesons in 39th, and Ruslan Kovaluk is on his own on the back row of the grid there, I'm afraid. We still have Lucas Arujo in the pits while these guys are waiting, so I'm not quite sure what Lucas is doing, but we'll certainly have a look back. You can see the Porsche behind us there of Chris Hoker just going up on jacks. Some of the cars up and down all over the place as they make changes, but it's bound to be a fantastic 3-hour race that we have here, everybody. Plenty of action coming up, of course, here on the sim grid. I'm Chaz Draycott with Kyle Lawrence and Connall Courtney alongside me in the box. And it seems I killed Connall earlier with one of my comments. Sorry about that, mate. But he's just about still in the commentary box with us. But interestingly enough, boys, as well, as the field gets rolling, only one Mercedes in the field here today, and that's Martin Larenc.
Yeah, surprising, and we've seen Larenc not actually in the Mercedes in previous, especially in the Sprint Cup and other races that he's been a part of, so obviously that's a team thing that they've mutually came to. But Larenc, Mercedes, it's tough on fuel here, as we've got word from Michael. They're going to have to be very conservative, not so much conservative, but conscious of their fuel. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, they're going to have to be conscious of their fuel while they're driving. But maybe looking at the bigger picture, they might have seen all the track calendar and what tracks are coming up, and think possibly that the Mercedes is the best for these guys, for their package and for the way they drive. So it'll be interesting to see as the season plays out. Of course, as we know, once you have selected a car, you cannot change. So we have a lone Mercedes and we have a lone Lexus out there. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys chop and change as the season progresses.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be an odd one to see if it plays into the strengths of some of these cars. There is the Lexus of Paul Diedrich in Dieter Racing. I could do with a diet as well. I might have to have a word with him. He's got the big green Bentley in front of him of Dominic Tower. And the Bentley certainly does tower over the rest of the competition, doesn't it, Kyle? It's a big old boat. I mean, even compared to the Audi in front of it, it's huge.
I was still laughing at your first comment. I'm just trying to get myself gathered together. But it is definitely a boat out there. You wouldn't expect a car that big and lumpy to be as fast and as quick as it is in the GT3. Being in ACC or in the real world. I mean, one of our most famous South African drivers here, in South Africa, Jordan Pepper, he drives for the Bentley team. And we honestly didn't expect it to be as quick as what it was and how it went at Bathurst. But for a boat, and as you mentioned, 1.5 tons being taken out of that car for it to go racing, they've done a really good job to get it to go around the track as quick as they can, or as quick as they have.
It's quite scary, isn't it, really? The size and pace of it combined is just crazy. We've got, of course, Alex Leaf a bit further up the order as well in the other Bentley, the big matte black Bentley near the front of the field for TPC Sim Racing. Pretty sure that TPC, or I'm thinking TCP. It's some sort of like disinfectant in the UK, so I'm not sure whether they've got some sort of sponsorship deal or something there, but yeah, they might have got it wrong. But this, anyway, getting serious now. Zachary Royal, pole sitter for this one in the beautiful Porsche 911 GT3R, GT3 Spec 1. as opposed to the Cup car, which we all know and love and see in many series all over the world. This is, of course, the bigger splitter, bigger arches, it's lower to the ground. Not as much power as the Cup car, interestingly enough. However, it's a really good-looking car by all accounts. And alongside it as well, Gregor Schill in the 888 Ferrari, the matte black Ferrari, looks also equally as stunning. We've got the Lamborghini in there as well. We've got Jordi Zvajes driving that one in 7th at the moment. You can hear brakes squeaking as they're still cold. With the cars coming around the final corner now then. To get this 3-hour race underway in the SimGrid Endurance Cup, you can see Gregor Schill a little bit impatient there on the inside as the 97 of Zachary Royal wants to hold them back for as long as he can. Let's see what he can do then. As the series gets underway then. 3 hours at the Temple of Speed is right upon us now. Still holding it. He's still holding it. Look at that. That's a lot of patience there from the 97. Gregor Schill is just a little bit in front of him though. And there we go. We're underway for 3 hours. They scream down the straight. Everyone staying line astern just to try and keep the slipstream. And there, coming through the middle as well, I believe that's Ibrahimi. Sorry, Ibrahimi's on the left-hand side. 3 wide into turn 1 though, nearly getting through. Zachary Royal down the outside is the number 99 of Samir Ibrahimi. Not quite making it. Looks like it's all tidy through the middle of the pack. Oh, there's a McLaren around in the middle though, Connall.
Unbelievable. It's always chaos at Monza T1. And the big Gregor Schill, one of the favourites for this race, has had a huge accident. He's going back onto the track. Hopefully everyone misses him. I think everyone will avoid him now, but he is taking some damage there. He is going to start at the very back of the grid. That's a horrible start for the Coach Dave Academy team. And the Ferrari, the 888, the Ferrari at home too, and he is way down the order. It looked like a messy start for him. He didn't get off the line so well, and he got caught up in a big way.
Well, that's a real shame, that one, isn't it, Kyle? I mean, it's a bit of a strange way for the race to start for them, but well, do you think he got any help? I mean, we didn't quite go all the way back, but it looked like it was. It's a bit of a strange place to lose it there, though, on the exit, that far from the exit, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if you grab a bit of curb on the exit and drop the wheel into the grass, there's that Royal coming under pressure now from Ibrahimi, and Ibrahimi just decided to back out of it there. But there were 2 Porsches down his inside on the exit there, so I wonder if just a bit of movement between those 3 cars caused contact there. But it also hampered Laurent as well. Laurent getting caught up by the spinning Ferrari, and he's got dropped down the grid. I mean, Ryan Meenan making a massive start. He's up into 5th now. So a big move and shake going on throughout lap 1, but it looks like we've got a bit of a Porsche Super Cup race going on in the front here.
Yeah, we certainly have. Zachary Royal from Samir Ibrahimi, then Nico Solman, and we've actually got Igor Ogorodnikov in there as well. There we go, I got it right. And I know that this now, best of the rest at the moment, is Kylian Ryan Meenan with Jordi Zvajes right behind him in the Lambo. We'll go on board then as they go down the straight. And just see the McLaren to the right there. It's a very, very intimidating looking car from the front and the rear. So is the Lambo, almost making contact there. He decides to get out of it. But this is the thing now, Connall, as one of the Porsches that down the inside of the Bentley. That was Czarnecki just going down the inside. He's managed to get himself past Sebastian Handler.
Oh, big touch.
Big incident at the top. Big incident at the chicane again.
Yep, there's a car stopped. I'm just trying to skip back through and see who we've got as they all recover. Novakovsky had to pretty much stop in that incident there. His flag's waving. It looked like a red flag, but it's not been red flagged, so don't worry. But yeah, it's they're all going to start getting into the rhythm a little bit now, aren't they, Connall? They just want to assess who's around them, who they think they're quicker than, who they're a bit slower than maybe, and just see what can happen there. It looks like it was Hillebrand that's lost out in that incident there. And look, there's even more dust being kicked up as well. They're really kicking off, aren't they, Connall?
Yeah, well, I hope they start settling down at some point. It's interesting because with incidents like that, you may find yourself either so much further than you anticipated to be up the grid, or so much further back. So you're going to be dealing with people you might not. As there's an incident for Nicholas Hillebrand, he recovers it well, though. I was going to say if that could have been quite disastrous there. But as I was saying, you might be racing against people you haven't normally raced against or have similar pace as you. So you really have to compensate and adapt to that situation.
Definitely, and there's a bit of a check-up going on here as well. There's quite a few cars all bunched together. There's a Bentley in the middle of this as well. I believe, actually, sorry, no, that's the Lexus. It's a Lexus of Diedrich we're aboard with now. great sounding machine. You can see the windscreen wipers even wobble in the wind. That's one of my favourite things about Assetto Corsa Competizione. Makes me sound really sad, but it's true. That's Rossetti just going a little bit wide there at the Parabolica, just making sure that the marbles are definitely still there on the outside line of the circuit. But it's interesting with the cloud cover here, Kyle, because it's quite a lot darker and potentially going to get cooler from what they had at the beginning of the afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, they all thought, some of the guys obviously thought decent qualification. We're going to be on decent tires first 2 laps. Cars, they're all over the place going into the first chicane. Are they going to make it through there without touching? No, not this time. There's a McLaren, your favorite teal-colored McLaren, heading off into the distance there.
No.
But I did say that we're gonna see a little bit of hammer and tongs in the beginning, a little bit of elbows out, and your favorite McLaren there, the Brazilian driver on the gate. What is that?
I'm just thinking now, he must have got some help or just gone straight onto the chicane. It's easy to do. Look at this train of cars though, and at the front of it, the 92, Thomas Schmetat, side by side now with the Audi. Down the inside goes Hillebrand, who apparently was crashed out, according to Forza Gary in the YouTube chat. Just behind as well, we've got Aston Martins going at each other as well. Tim Trocate was in there, as the camera doesn't actually show us what was going on there. Look at them all just filtering out of the second Lesmo. And it's these sort of bottlenecks around Monza in this situation, Connall, that can really cause the incidents that we've seen so far. And there's actually been a change for the lead, by the way. Ibrahimi has taken Zachary Royal and actually gapped him a little bit now as well. So, again, what I was saying about the bottleneck, you make a move and it really slows at least one of you down here, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it's interesting to see the number 97 car did start on pole position, going for a different strategy. Of course, we know the Cruiser himself is the pole hound. He might be the fastest person in this team, planning possibly to get his stint done in some clear air. But it looks now at the minute as though Royal is being hounded. Ibrahimi now opening this gap, but when you're in a battle like this, especially with 2 hours and 53 minutes to go of a 3-hour race, you're begging to get some clear. You're begging just to settle down into that rhythm. But at the same time, your ego, your pride, it just won't let you get past. So it's an interesting dynamic to have to deal with.
Definitely, and as Kyle said, it's a bit of a Porsche Super Cup race going on at the start. Behind them is Jordi Sveers in the ever wonderful Lamborghini Huracan GT3 for HYDR Racing. He's then got the McLaren of Ryan Meenan behind him. Then it's another Bentley. Sorry, that is the Bentley of Alex Leaf, the big black Bentley, doing an absolutely belting job at the moment. But starting to settle down a bit between these guys. But if we do look back though, it was pretty close between all of these lot. It's Hinside, sorry. And then just behind him, there's the 2 McLarens, Van der Molen, and then Andre Felix in there as well. Look at this, quite a train developing between these lot. A couple of McLarens, the Lexus in there as well. We're going to keep an eye on Diedrich in that Lexus, and hopefully he can get a good result with the big beast. He's actually going down the inside of the McLaren in front of him now. Trying it on Braun, that's Timo Braun. Doesn't quite work there, but we'll go on board now and watch the slipstream effect. Oh, Braun a little bit out of shape there, but it's easy to do through Ascari, isn't it, Kyle? Because the car goes one way then the other, and it's the weight transfer. It can really upset the machine.
Yeah, it's very much, the weight transfer is one thing, but then also you're riding a lot of curve as well. So you've unsettled the suspension, you've got the thing sitting on fast rebound, and then you're trying to get it to change direction as well. So sometimes it does tend to argue with you, and we saw him hamper his run out of Ascari there into the Parabolica, and he looks like he might actually lose 2 places with the Aston, I think, of Diedrich there, just by going up his inside into the first chicane. So one mistake and you lose 2 places in this chain. It's like watching a karting event on a GP2 race.
You're not wrong there, actually, either. That's Hannes Nord just looking down the inside. He's having to actually defend from Hillebrand as well, who is also trying to make his way through in the Audi. He's actually managed to go around the outside into the first part of the chicane, get the inside into the second part, and he's now going to try and go around the outside of Nord, but I'm expecting Hillebrand to come back up through the order now after that incident earlier here, Connall, and he's certainly on a mission, it seems, in that R8.
Yeah, and he'll just be desperate just to start making positions. He'll see the cars in front of him. He'll know he has the pace on most of these guys. He'll just be looking to make his way through, but he can't get too aggressive. Can't afford, if he does have damage currently, he cannot afford any more as he goes into the pits for his next stop. The repairs will be quite significant, I think you would say. Schill now, he's one to keep your eye on, the number 888 car. He was the guy you seen in your stream having a big incident at the start, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets his way up through the field. He's already up to P34. He has the pace to be running at the front. The race pace of the Ferrari is very good around here, so hopefully he can side his way through this field and make his progress heard and get some progress up the field.
And Michael as well has made us aware that penalties may be given out for some of these incidents, so they are going to be looking back at them. And the number 404 car has had a rough start as well, we've had a report on, and that is Martin Lorenc, of course, who had that incident earlier. Looks like he's in a bit of clear air there. He's got a couple of guys fighting behind. This is Mikael Copera and Hin Saigo was one of the McLarens coming out the pit lane as well, just alongside this. I believe that is... I don't think it is Humberto Magetti, so he's actually coming out now right into the middle of traffic, hoping to stay out of the way. There's a Porsche off there as well, just in front, so that first chicane really catching some of these guys out there. It's Lucas Rommel. Lucas is one of the guys that I commentated on in the Coach Dave Academy as well, and ahead of him, he's now got a good fight as well, Kyle, so there's action absolutely everywhere. It's almost like these guys are treating it like a sprint race.
Yeah, I don't see much endurance mentality going here as we see the McLaren deep down. Oh, that Porsche was late on the brakes. He was lucky to avoid contact there with Aston Martin. Lucas Rommel just trying. Oh, he's going to go on the inside. Yeah, no, he's backed out of it. Was there actually contact between those two cars? He was running so close. And he's lost the place. So this is not endurance mentality at all from any of these drivers. But it was interesting to see like Lorenc, we saw get caught up in that contact there with the Porsche and McLaren. Lucas Rommel just turning in, not knowing he was there. How he managed to keep that Porsche on the track is something else. But I was trying to mention, as you look at the McLaren now, trying to look down the inside, as Schill and Lorenc, wouldn't have been a bad idea to maybe pit and get yourself some of that clean air, because trying to cut your way through this traffic, you're just going to lose so much time on the leaders and so much opportunity to gain places.
Yeah, that's it. It can very easily go downhill. And speaking of going downhill, I mean, he's still in 4th place, but Zachary Royal's now dropped down to the bottom of these 4 Porsches up near the front of the field, and there's actually quite a gap opening up. So, like you said before, going to be interesting when Cruiser gets back in the car to see the pace difference. Killian Ryan Meenan down the inside of the Lambo, a little bit of a tap there going into the first chicane. You've got to think about the Bentley of Alex Leaf behind them, and then of course you've got Jack Noller, Artur Czarnecki and Sebastian Handler in there as well. Side by side actually is Czarnecki and Handler, the Bentley and the Porsche. Oh, it's like the Battle of Britain all over again. It's the Germans against the Brits, side by side down to the second chicane. You're the independent in this one, Connall. I'm going to bring you in on this one. Oh, actually, the Bentley's just getting it done.
Yeah, that was fantastic racing. We've seen Noller, Handler, Czarnecki, those guys in previous races, at least on the ones I've commentated with, and these guys can make passes that you don't think are possible. Interesting to see, though, if you're Killian in 5th place in the McLaren, you're going to be looking in your rear view mirror, you're going to be seeing a lot of gravel being kicked up, and you might even say a few decades of the rosary, because this is tough stuff. These guys behind, what's that, 5 cars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 cars behind him, chasing him down, hunting him down as he's just trying to get into a rhythm. It's not exactly what you want to see in the rear view mirror.
No, and we jump on the cross-channel ferry then for a run down the straight towards the Parabolica. And that Lambo is getting closer and closer down the straight. Here is Jordi Viers. Onto the brakes, you can hear him squeaking away, pops and bangs, and again it comes back to the epic sounds that you get on a set of Corsa Competizione. It's so immersive. We look back though from the Bentley, and there is the train behind. Of course, we have Seb Handler in the number 11 Bentley in 9th place there. That is Jack Noller in the McLaren chasing us down. But the variation in cars once again in GT3s. Oh, Sebastian Handler goes very, very deep. Oh, and he's into the McLaren. Oh. Jack Noller gets hit as well. That was just a bit of a silly move on the brakes there for Jack Noller. Not Jack Noller, sorry, Seb Handler. Out of shape, hits that curb, and honestly, if I was in a McLaren like that, I wouldn't want a Bentley-sized object jumping into my driver's door, would you?
Yeah, it looks like someone's actually just dropped a torpedo on you. thrown a moving missile. He's going to lose a position to the Porsche behind him. But it looked like to me, almost Handler was playing with the settings inside the car and braked on the grass, with the wheel on the grass. How he collected that without taking all of those cars out was some sort of talent to me. But maybe keep your eyes on the road, mate, and not break in the grass, and that won't happen. But the one thing that surprises me, and we've had an resurgence, especially in South Africa, with a lot of real races joining the sim world. And their biggest comment was that they try and race close to each other like they do in the real world, and they just can't seem to get it right. But to watch these boys and to watch the talent of these drivers, to be able to run this close together, side by side, pulling off block passes and things that you expect to see in the real world, it's phenomenal. It's really testament to the talent that we've got in the field. Down the inside goes the Bentley, though, deep onto the brakes, gets the move done, the McLaren runs wide, and Wolf getting caught up in this battle and running very close. They're going to make a position. They're going to go 3 abreast down towards the Parabolica, I anticipate there, with the pink Audi just in the background, waiting for them to trip over each other and make another 2 places after you've just made one.
Yeah, Jack Noller got screwed over quite a lot there, to be honest, by that. But that, again, comes back to what I was saying before. You try and make a move, puts one of you offline, it's going to hamper you quite a lot through there. But we have Full House Gaming have said it's more of a building than a torpedo, the Bentley. And to be honest, he's not wrong at all. Absolutely not wrong. But yeah, it's pretty mad how that car did jump through into the air and not take all them out. Down the inside then goes the Audi. Oh, and late on the brakes, Noller gives him some back. He says, right, you lost it on the brakes last time. Whoops, watch this. Well, luckily, again, they get away with it. Only just, but I'll tell you what, if we ever go bowling with these lot, I'm not putting money on any of these guys. They couldn't get a spare if they tried, could they, Connall?
Yeah, I mean, that was a phenomenal save from Wolf. That was brilliant. He was lucky there with the Noller contact. It was looking as though he would take out that pink Audi. Very, very, very close there, but we're away. We're again. Noller was the only one who got paid. Had to be costed dearly for that, as we see Killian, who's just been passed now. Or, excuse me, he is chasing down Royale. Interesting to see this Porsche struggling so much. The pole one, of course.
Yeah, the Zachary Royals really dropping back here from being in the lead earlier, of course, from pole position. We've got Samir Ibrahimi at the moment leading the way from Igor Ogorodnikov. And then it's Nico Solman. Not really seen much of Nico. There he is. So we'll go back to this then with Zachary Royal and Kilian Ryan. Of course, Connall very happy that Ryan Meenan is doing well, but if I'm honest, it's good to see one of the McLarens up there, because as the comments have been saying, the Porsches at the front have been the class of the field at the moment. But don't forget, these guys are all in different classes as well. The Pro class, of course, the white cars on the left. Pro-Am will be the black, I believe, and then the grey ones will be the silver class. So Ryan Meenan at the moment in silver doesn't actually need to get past Zachary Royal, but he'll want a bit more daylight between himself and the car 777 P7 Alex Leaf in the Bentley. There it is. Because, to be honest, when you know that there's cars between you and other guys in your class in this sort of situation, Kyle, it can give you a little bit of... It can take a bit of the pressure off, can't it? But it's never always gone. You've always got to have it in the back of your mind, haven't you?
Look, when the visor's down, the red mist ascends or descends, sorry. You don't want to get passed by any driver, and you want to do a lot of passing yourself. So I don't think you
Oh,
it's difficult to... Whoa! Porsche running wide there again.
That was Lucas Rommel going on a scenic route and a tour around. Wow, look at that! It's like he's playing some sort of like destruction simulator. He takes all the boards with him. We'll go back 10 seconds just see if we can catch it. No, he's already gone past at that point. But yeah, that's not ideal from him. But again, when these guys are battling into that chicane, we've seen quite a bit of this, haven't we? Where they run late on the brakes, clip the grass, and obviously at the speeds they're doing, it's easy to do that.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to avoid the driver in front. I mean, these cars are so different manufacturer-wise. You know, the McLaren may brake slightly earlier than you, and you may brake slightly later in the Porsche. The brakes may be just a little bit better on the Porsche. So the closing distances and the closing speeds of these cars are all different. So I think that's what's catching these drivers out at the moment.
And what were you going to say there, Connall? Sorry? Yeah, go on.
You're not going to clean those bollards up with the sweeping brush, that's for sure. But yeah, just to hop on to what Kyle was saying, maybe lack of experience, especially in endurance races. You would suspect that these guys would be running not the sprint pads. Of course, you can change brake pads in these cars for a set of course competition, so that might play a factor in. But I think the biggest factor, as Kyle said, is the different manufacturers. These guys really have to compensate, understand who they're racing with, and compensate for the differences in braking performance, but as we've seen in the T1, it's not looking like they're doing so.
No, definitely not. They like ascend, but to be honest, Lucas Rommel had quite a lot of damage on the back of that Porsche as well and up the right hand side, so definitely getting some help there. He's got the Lexus as well just behind him of Sprusanski, the number 2 car, flying down the straight, and it does sound absolutely gorgeous, does the Lexus. He's got a good view of the battle in front, but it looks like Hannes Nord just looking down the inside of the McLaren doesn't quite do it there. It's Andre Felix and then Timo Braun behind him, then Lucas Rommel waiting to try and get back through this pack. But meanwhile, Jordi Zveys as well has got Alex Leaf just 0.4 of a second, now 0.2 of a second behind him. So it's getting closer and closer between these lot, and there's a bit of an accordion effect going on, isn't there, Kyle, where sometimes they'll really spread out quite a bit. There'll be a lot of difference between the lap times, but then come the next lap, it'll close up again.
I think it's more to do with the car you're following, and the mistakes to be made. The circuit is one to allow for a mistake that you can get away with. That, riding a curve a bit too much, the back does tend to step out a little bit of a lift, and you lose up to half a second down the straight. It's not like, at some circuits you make a mistake and that slide is all there is, because the next corner is a hairpin or a tight 90 degree or something like that. So yeah, you make a mistake onto one of these straights, and what could be 0.1, 0.2 turns out to 0.7 by the time you get to the end of it. So I think that's why you would see a lot of accordion happening between all these drivers. But what's interesting to me is Royal, the choice to put Royal in the car to start to begin with, as we have a look at Lorenk moving himself. He's moved himself all the way up to 15th after that terrible first lap. But to put Royal in for the beginning, maybe they're looking to run a shorter first stint and get Lucas, the cruiser, as much time as they can behind the wheel to increase a gap on these guys that are swapping over to, I don't want to say second driver, but their second driver choice, the slightly slower driver than the driver that did qualifying. And try and keep that time minimized loss by putting in the second driver. Yeah,
you really have to think about where you're going to need to cut through the traffic, where you're going to just need consistent lap times over the course of a 3-hour race like this. Interestingly enough as well, Michael Hamlet, of course, providing us with all of our info in the background, so thank you, Michael. You will see on the left-hand side of your screen, everybody, drive-through for Mr. Lorenk for the incident on lap 1 with the number 95 car. So Sam Cairns, who is just a little bit ahead there in the Bentley, he's ahead of him on track still, but yes, drive through for Martin Lorenk, I'm afraid. Just trying to have a look a bit further down the order at what's close. Lucas Rommel is still in a bit of a scrap here. He's got Lucas Sprusanski just behind in the Lexus, and then ahead of him, Timo Braun is on the back of the 2 McLarens. That looked like Hannes Nord going a little bit wide there through the second chicane, a bit of dust being kicked up, and then Nicholas Hellebrand trying to make his way back through. He's in P21 at the minute. But our leader, to be honest, Connall, flying away with this at the moment. He's got a couple of seconds over Igor Ogorodnikov, but what a great drive this has been so far from Samir.
Yeah, phenomenal. Ibrahimi, he was the class of the field himself, and the other Coach Steve Academy driver, whose name escapes me, I'm sure someone will correct me, but Ibrahimi was the class of the field in the GT4s, and he's proven himself to be the class of the field at the moment. He's established that lead. Of course, it wasn't easy at T1. He really had to go defensive there to protect his lead. But once he got it, he got in front and he just opened that gap. Very, very impressive stuff. But disappointing for Lorenk with the drive-throughs, as you can see on your time screen. One thing that is interesting and will be a factor later on in this race is track limits. We've seen these guys touching the gravel, very wide, very loose, very aggressive. So yeah, that might be a thing that will play a factor in and ruin some of these guys' strategies.
Yeah, you have to think about every single one of these corners when track limits on the table as well, and I'm sure you'll know as well, Kyle. Oh, down the inside, the number 44. Wow, Czarnecki, where did that come from? Let's have a look at this. Let's see, once again, late on the brakes, little dip down the inside, and to be honest, you've got to say hats off there to Jordi Zveys for noticing him coming there, because that was quite late, but even still, beautifully committed, wasn't it, Kyle? Oh, yeah, I don't contact.
Sorry. And car off. There was a car off sideways there. Did he keep it on the circuit?
He did, yeah. The Lambo stayed on. That was Jordi Zveys again, and that was contact with Wolf Matuszka. Wow, just a tap into Lesmo too, and now the 2 Bentleys have gone past as well, and they're going to be side by side. No, they're not quite side by side into Ascari, but yeah, the awareness there was great from Jordi Zveys, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't even think there was a move on there. I think the Porsche might have just outbraked himself and decided to go inside instead of create contact. And great awareness from both drivers actually to not turn that into a race-ending incident. But talking about track limits and a question maybe I must ask Michael, I'm unsure of in the ACC format. We know that track limits stay with the car; they don't stay with the driver. But in terms of ACC, the points that you get or the warnings that you get, I wonder if that's per driver or per vehicle.
Yeah, that is an interesting one. We'll have to see how that develops over the course of the race, whether anything comes through from that. Michael said warnings per car, so you really have to think about, is your teammate a clumsy sod and who's going to be jumping in after you? Because, late on the brakes, the Bentley again. Honestly, these guys are going to give me a heart attack. And, Matuszka's had a heart attack there. He's been turned around. The McLaren jumps over the curbs, takes one of the signs with him. Matuszka gets the contact, and around he goes. It was a slow spin. And to be honest, a nice recovery there. Actually, reverses it nicely. Says after you with the Bentley, and off he goes. But bit of a shame there on that one, Killian. Actually, it looks like he's letting him back through as well, which is nice.
Yeah, that's good sportsmanship there. Matuszka, he hasn't had a good time of it the past couple of laps. So you could see him earlier, just a lap ago, as we come round to the spot that I'm talking about. He very angrily was flashing another driver, so not having the best of times here. And when you're stuck in a group like that and no one wants to yield, especially in an endurance race, it can be so frustrating, especially as you want to just sit down into your rhythm. As we see, I don't know how many drivers have hit that gravel there on the outside. This has been wild so far.
Yeah, Lesmo too, the groundskeeper, will not be happy with these boys after that one. Just a bit of an update on Team Cool Boys. Rory Davis is currently in 31st place in car 1. And then McLaren not doing the best at the moment. Martin Lorenk is now 30th. Just behind them is Joey Tyson's in the Audi. Or he's on screen somewhere if the camera catches up. There he is. Just coming through now. He's got Ryan Whitlock right behind him in the Aston Martin. And then Rossetti is quite a bit back in the next Porsche behind them. So just trying to see who is getting very tasty and close on track. This is Sebastian Handler. Just behind him is Jordi Zviers in the Lamborghini, chasing down the straight. And of course that Lambo, it looks like a slippery little bugger, doesn't it actually, Kyle? It's so low to the ground in comparison to the Bentley, and it's such an angular shape, but it looks like it should be really streamlined and very good aerodynamically.
No, every time I look at a Lambo, I half expect missiles to pop out and turn into the Batmobile. But it is definitely a slippery looking shape and very radical. That's something Lamborghini's always been known for, is the radical styling. But interesting enough, I've just got Kate taking a gander through the timesheets on my left hand side. Is that Gregor Schultz still 34 seconds off at the moment? So I wonder if maybe he didn't do a pit stop at some point. Down there in 36th place, he hasn't made any movement, and he's quite far back in terms of the group. So maybe he did make that stop and look for some clean air to put in some good laps.
Yeah, I suppose when you're that far down, you've not got much to lose, really. You just got to get on with it. Yeah, Gregor pitted with damage received on 1 lap down. Actually, that's what Michael's just said. He's to try and sort the damage out, because he did get sort of spun around and get a bit of a hit on each side. Sorry, I should say. Gilberto Rodriguez says, go, 3M Racing. Well, I imagine they've got very sticky rubber on the car. I'm sorry. Dominic Tower then, at the moment, 8th position in Silver Class, and interestingly enough, Killian Ryan Meenan leading the Silver Class in this race, has Alex Leaf behind him now, but the gap is about 1.4 seconds between these pair. Maybe a bit more than that, actually. Yeah, 3 seconds, apologies. So, a stop-go, 30 seconds there for Stavros Konstantinidis. Not Tinnitus. To be honest, it'll probably take him as long to do his stop-and-go as it would for us to get his name right, wouldn't it, Connall?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even attempting it. Yeah, disappointing for a stop-go 30-second penalty. And you know yourself, anyone who has been part of racing or sim racing will know, once you are stationary for 30 seconds, while people are on hot laps and are driving around at 180 mile an hour, that 30 seconds just feels like an absolute age. But he's taking it as we cut back to Loaf, the number 77, or Leaf, excuse me. The stream is a little pixelated for me, so I'm struggling to see driver names, so I might get them wrong. But the number 77, Devon doing very well. second, of course, in silver, just behind Ryan Mean. So yeah, very impressive from these guys. They're ahead of all the Pro-Am drivers. So we have 4 silver drivers ahead of the leading Pro-Am, which is Noller in 11th.
Yeah, Jack at the moment, he's got quite a bit of breathing room between himself and Menno van der Molen in 17th position in the 112 car, but he is doing a good job at repping the McLaren at the moment. Gorgeous looking car, and to be honest, it was one that when it first came out, I really did think that's going to have to grow on me, that, because to be honest, it was a bit strange at certain angles because it's got the really large rear arches on it, hasn't it, Kyle? It's one of those cars that's good at certain angles, isn't it? I think that's the only way to sum it up.
To me, it's always looked like a car that looked like it was a well-designed vehicle, but then someone squashed it. And made it look like that. So they took the clay model, and before they gave it to the guys to do the design, someone by mistake dropped it upside down, and that's what we ended up with. So it doesn't look like it was actually intended to look that way. But now that I've been looking at it a little bit longer and watching it, especially in the GT3 work we've been doing with ACC, it's starting to grow on me. It's not a car that I've been able to drive very well. Not that I can drive any of these cars very well, but I have tried my hand at it, and I'm not a major fan. It is a little bit. Oh, Wolf getting under massive pressure there now from that Keynes behind him.
No, that's Coquel. He's actually just overtaken him into turn 1. I think he just outdid him on the brakes, but Coquel tried to get the run back, but I think the pink Audi dazzled him so much he couldn't do it.
It is a very lively livery, I think. Oh, late on the brakes is Van Coquel, and he's actually just thrown it away there. It's very strange for me to see that side max car so far down. Well, it's not that far down. It's 13th out of 30 plus drivers. You see a replay there, which is running wide. That's definitely going to be a track limit warning. But Van Coquel normally quite a bit higher up in the field, and there's other teammates in the second side max car doing very well there in the 4th. But I see your buddy Igor there up in second place at the moment. So the last time I looked, he was down in 4th.
Yeah, Igor has he's creeped his way back up the order. Solman's, well, he is a sole man on his own in 3rd at the moment, and Zachary Royal is battling with Killian Ryan-Meenen at the moment, and Killian doesn't need to do this, but he's probably thinking, right, I'm going to have Alex Leaf behind me at the moment, and I need to get away here from that big old Bentley, and I'm going to have some fun with this Porsche. So Zachary Royal now is going to have to defend from the very angry looking McLaren. Thank you very much everybody for your comments in the chat. We really do appreciate all the feedback on the broadcast, the racing, the commentary as well. Look at these pair ups in the chicane. That was big man fruit stuff there. A bit of a shimmy around in the chicane as well. The Porsche on the inside to hold it. Looks like Killian Ryan-Meenen has got the run on the exit. He's now on the inside for Curva Grande, and surely he's got the job done there. That was feisty stuff there, Connall, by your countryman, but I'm sure you're happy with the outcome because that was very brave.
Yeah, he's doing us proud, but I don't think it's just quite over. We've seen Royal, he is struggling, but he might look up the inside now. He thinks better of it. But yeah, very important actually for Killian here. He has put a car between himself and Leaf, and that is critical, especially, you know, he almost doesn't see Royal as a competitor. He sees him as almost an obstacle. So to put that obstacle in between himself and Leaf, excellent stuff from the Irishman.
And I think as moving chicanes go, that Porsche is quite a pretty one. So I wouldn't mind trying to get around that. As Jeff Colclough has just pointed out in the chat as well, we have over 150 viewers watching at the moment. So hello everybody, welcome, and we hope you're enjoying yourselves. However, we've not even passed the 50 like mark yet. So please do drop us a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the Sims Grid as well. And of course, we will keep bringing you this epic content. We have a good couple of rounds in this championship as well. 4 races, 3 hours each, and I believe the next round is on the 8th of August. We will head to Silverstone, and I cannot wait for that one. Plank Livery says liked and shared. Thank you very much. We are very grateful for all of you guys jumping in and watching this afternoon. We hope you are having a good time. And, well, looking a bit further down the order here, boys, we've got a little bit of scrap going on between Rafael Borges Ballerini, Lucas Rommel, Tim Troche, and the big Lexus of Lucas Brusanski. But it's easy to get caught in a sandwich like this, isn't it, Kyle, where you've got cars around you that all want to climb all over one another, and it just doesn't help you in the long run, does it?
No, the front two will make a move and slow down the next three. The next three will make a move on those front two and slow down the three behind them. So it just becomes a bit of a mess. And in a 3-hour endurance is not what you want to happen. Often we've had it where we've caught up onto a group that we don't want to race, and rather just hang back a couple of car lengths and let them do their thing and sort themselves out, rather than try and battle them, or maybe look to do an early stop, or try and change the strategy rather than get into a fight and possibly end your race trying to move yourself forward and find some clean air.
Yeah, that's it. It's, the phrase you came out with earlier, risk management, is definitely the aim of the game here at Monza this afternoon. And well, Sprysanski, he's got about 8 tons more bodywork to worry about on this Lexus than the Aston Martin, so he can probably afford to shed a little bit of it. The massive wing though on the Aston with the bright yellow struts on it looks absolutely brilliant. They're side by side around Curva Grande. That's Tim Troche in the 180 car. Silver against Pro-Am right now. Lexus on the outside into the second chicane. He's not quite carried the speed to make it work down the inside of the second part. Martin Larenc now has a really good view of this. Full House Gaming says, I accidentally saved the video to one of my playlists. I don't think it helped, but I'm trying. Well, thank you for trying, mate. We're grateful. Martin Larenc, though, look at him, Connolly, all over the back of the... Well, I said look at him, but the camera clicked away from him. Look at him, here we go. He's all over the back of the Lexus now. The sole Merc and the sole Lexus in this race, they've come together in sort of a battle of the titans.
Yeah, they're doing each manufacturer proud. Larenc has just served his drive-through, so he might just have a little bit more pace than these guys. He is normally a front runner, but interesting to see the way these guys are battling, the dynamic between this, because we've seen in the Misano GT4 races on launch night, we actually were interviewing some of the leading drivers, and the way the race panned out, there was a bit of a lead created by the front two guys, and then the guys behind started catching up after they started battling. And actually, when interviewing these guys that were third, fourth, fifth, catching the leading two, they admitted that they spoke with each other in the race channel, and formulated a plan together, almost like if you would imagine cycling a peloton group formulating a plan to catch the leader. So interesting to see. If I was a silver driver, Pro-Am, as we see going around the outside, that's a brave move in the Mercedes. What a move.
That was gorgeous.
If I was battling against someone who wasn't in my class, I'd be having a wee chat with them and making sure that we stuck together and worked together.
Yeah, that's it. You've got to try and just make sure that if you are going to go for a move on each other, you don't lose momentum and overall lose time. If you're going to get past, just let them go past down the straight. Don't fight it too much. Don't fight it to the chicane. Brake early. Let them slot in front, and then just keep going. And together, if you're on pace, you'll gradually catch the cars in front. Martin Larenc, though, car 404. Hopefully, no error 404 for him over the course of this race. But the Mercedes, of course, getting the drive-through earlier, so maybe a bit of error 404 there. But we have had in the YouTube chat that the number 446 of Hind Saig for Rookie Monsters started 30th, and they were up to P15 when they commented, now up to P13. What a great drive they're having. That is the Audi just in front of Michael Copera, or Copra. So lots of progress being made here so far through this race, and to be honest, boys, we're not even 40 minutes in, and I don't think we can cope with much more of this, Kyle, because it's just going to get more and more exciting as the strategy comes into it, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we're watching these battles and then the battles further back, but I mean, having a look at Zarnecki, he's moved himself into 5th ahead of Royal now. So Zarnecki on a big charge, trying to catch up into the back of Killian. I mean, Killian not in his class, but Zarnecki, I don't know where he came from because I haven't seen his name up there. And he's a driver that I know quite well from 3M Racing. And he's moved himself right up into 5th place as we see a move just further back behind him. They're going on. It's the Bentley and Royal about to lose another place. So if they were putting Royal into to run a short first stint, I think around about now is a good time to come in.
Oh, contact. Oh, the Bentley, to be honest, the Bentley squeezed him over a little bit there. We'll have a look back at it. Just as they come out of the Lesmo, the Porsche's all the way on the curb, and look at the amount of room that's left. The Bentley didn't really give him all the room to come back on there. That's Dominic Tower. And, well, to be honest, Zachary Royal there, the Porsche hitting the side of the Bentley is like trying to break down a tower block with a rubber. It's honestly like, it's just not going to happen, unfortunately, but he did a good job to save it. But yeah, Zachary Royal is dropping down here. Jordi Sveer's now on the back of him as well. We'll go to my favourite helicam just to catch this battle down the straight, see if they close in on one another. Of course, the slipstream in full effect here. Look at that. The Lambo, it's a big old brick is that Lambo, but the Porsche with the huge wings and splitters on it certainly does look like it's a bigger car. Oh, and to be honest, Jordi's Fires there had to get out of it, got a bit wobbly on the exit, and he may now come back at the Porsche once again. But Zachary Royal at this moment, I'd say he's royally screwed with how he's dropping down the order, Connall. What do you reckon?
Yeah, very surprising. Very surprising. I'm sure Cruiser, he might be watching actually this broadcast. He might be watching a little bit miffed, or at least a little bit frustrated that he's going to have to get into this car and do a lot of work on the side Max Motorsports car. But yeah, no, really surprising from these guys. I just want to get through some information that Michael, our trackside announcers, come to the commentary box with, because he's come through with quite a lot and we haven't mentioned it. Doing all the work and he's getting no reward. A drive-through here costs 31 seconds at Monza, and a stop-go 30-second penalty costs 1 minute and 5 seconds. So very, very significant to get any of those penalties given how close the field is. We've had a drive-through due to a collision with Sebastian Handler, the number 11 car. That was on Knoller, that incident. And Handler has already served his drive-through. We've a drive-through for the number 25 for a collision with the number 111 car on lap 8. And as we see now, if you're following the lap times, of course the lap times bottom right of the screen, they will pop up eventually. There we are, right on cue, thank you very much. Lap times bottom right of the screen just under the names, so you can see that the lap times are indeed dropping. Tyre wear now becoming an issue.
Yeah, the time is nigh for some of these pit stops. You can see just Gregor Schill there in the background of that shot. He's actually a lap down on these guys. So it's going to be a lot of work for him to come back from this, and it's a real shame because with Gregor on the front row, the one Ferrari taking it to the Porsches, we thought that there was going to be an epic battle at the front, really, didn't we, Kyle? It was going to be an absolute corker. I mean, we've still got some good battles going on, though, but unfortunately it's not the Ferrari and the Porsche gang.
Oh, Wolf looking for a move down the inside. Now, where did Wolf come from? He's up into 9th place. He was quite far down the grid, and he was involved in a lot of instances. He's going to make this move stick. Great little dive down the inside. No contact. Easy as you like. Thanks for coming. I'll take that position from the Lamborghini there of Jordy. But where has he come from? Because he wasn't up. I don't even think he was in the top 15 after qualifying.
He's full on Cotton-eyed Jody, hasn't he? He's really flown up out of nowhere. But Jordy is not giving this up now into the second chicane. I am very happy to sit and watch these two V10s go at it, because let's face it, same engine pretty much, almost the same car underneath. Jordy's gone really deep there into that second chicane. Look at the amount of time he's lost. But two V10s racing together as closely as that. I had a bit of a man moment there where they came out of that first chicane, because what a noise from that Audi. It's a bit more savage than the Lamborghini seems in this one, but still, is anyone going to moan at a V10? Because what a sound. Sam Cairns, though, in the Bentley, he's got the attentions of Niels van der Kokel at the moment, just behind him. And you can see the beautiful shape of the wing on that Bentley. Now, I'm going to ask a bit of a controversial question here to everyone in the chat as well, and I'm going to start with you on this one, Connall. Do you prefer this shape Bentley or the original one?
Well, thanks very much. I heard controversial question, and I'm going to ask you first, so appreciate that. I prefer this one, personally. There's no real reason behind my explanation. Just aesthetically, I mean, it just looks menacing. It just looks like if you have it in your rearview mirror that, you know, you don't exactly want it in your rearview mirror. Your heart rate goes up by a couple of beats per minute every time it's there. So yeah, no, this is my favorite version.
Well, I appreciate your opinion, but you're wrong. What about you, Kyle?
Well, at least I got that to start with. No, look, I've had a long.
Just give him the answer.
it's like writing a test with cheat codes. I've had a lot of chats with Jordan Pepper. He's driven this car and driven the previous model, and in terms of the look of the car, it's very much been dulled down and modernized as opposed to the older. And I did prefer the older looking vehicle in terms of a road car, but as a race car, this is definitely something I prefer to see run around the circuit. It does look a bit smoother, a bit sleeker. I love those teardrop lights in the back, but the amount of development done between the two cars has been absolutely phenomenal from the Bentley M Sport racing team. They've made huge improvements in the braking. They've made massive improvements in the fuel usage and just all round drivability of the car. And they had a lot of understeer issues in the older car. The new car now turning a lot better and just allowing a lot easier drive between all three drivers. So they haven't just improved it for one driver in the team; they've improved it for all three. And every single one of them is singing the praises of this new car. So they've definitely made a step in the right direction. So in terms of race car, you don't care what a race car looks like. It's going to be fast and it's going to win races. That's what it's there for.
Very true indeed. I do agree. This new one is a gorgeous car. I'm just a humongous fan of the older shape. I just think that it didn't look like it should handle or go as quickly as it did because it looked so basic in terms of the bodywork and the overall shape of it. This one's got vents and angles and nice bits all over it. It's a gorgeous machine, and it's still massive. I actually saw one at the Autosport International at the start of the year, and what a good-looking car, although Sam Cairns will disagree with me there that was not beautiful. It was a bit out of shape through the Parabolica. Race lead is still going fine, though. Samir Ibrahimi doing everything he needs to do at the moment. He's not got the biggest gap in the world over Igor. Igor's just there, just making their way through traffic now, and this is one of the toughest parts of the race when you first get through the traffic. He's got one of the Aston Martins just in front of him there. That's the number 25 of Mikan Novakovsky. And the very garish green and purple Aston Martin there. Something's wrong if a Porsche is winning at Monza, says Bolton. Yeah, well, balance of performance is a thing as the Aston Martin gets out of the way there. You can see the blue flag even, which is nice to see. Through Ascari they go, and that angle really doesn't do it justice with how hard it is to get these cars around here. But interestingly, Igor has been given a drive-through penalty. Very strange. Let's just have a look. I'm wondering whether Michael's just confirming it now. The 55 is actually DNF'd as a result of the incident on lap 1. By getting a DNF, they throw away points, and as a result, more points go to their rivals. The drive-through was for... Oh, right, okay, so it was the 56 that was in the collision with Gregor Schill. So Igor needs to get his foot down now then and crack on to make sure he doesn't lose as much time from that drive-through. He's got the Audi just... Oh, he's not really making life easy for him there. Comfortable lead for Lilac. Yes, definitely. But Nico Solman will be happy with that in the 991, because to be honest, well, it's just got a bit easier for him now, hasn't it, Kyle, with that? Because he's got quite a gap back to Ryan Meenan behind, and then Czarnecki. Royal's now down to 7th, but what's been a bit of a lonely race, maybe not the most exciting for Nico Solman. They're going to be further up the podium, and it's FTW Racing forgot to warm up.
Absolutely. That's the team names. I was talking to you about it earlier. Some of these team names are just a great giggle. And I mean, I've been giggling all the way through our broadcast of this because I think you actually write down these puns. Soulman. So he's Soulman on his own. You already came up with that one. So I'm almost sure you've got a list next to you because there's no way you're coming up with this off the cuff. Oh, great stuff from you there, Chaz. But life's a lot easier for him now. 30-second penalty or drive-through penalty for Igor in front of him. We did hear that a drive-through is worth 31 seconds on Monza. But interesting enough, we were talking about how the Porsches are so fast here. Porsche is never really a good car in a straight line, and Monza is supposed to be a straight line circuit. So it's very strange to see, in my mind, from the input we've been given, that the Porsches aren't very quick in a straight line. But now we've got 3 in the front 3.
Yeah, it's a hell of a pokey car in a straight line by the look of it here. So something is going right for them. And we actually have Juraj Chenchek, is it, in the interview Jure. There we go. Interviewee name is Jure, says Michael. Yes, we will... Jure. There we go. I'll get there after the 3rd iteration because clearly I'm not getting something right with the nickname. But oh well. We are going to actually drag him in for an interview. Here's the co-driver of Towers car, number 207. Jure, nice to speak to you, mate. How are you getting on?
It's really good. Actually, very comfortable. Starting from 21st place, it's been smooth drive.
Were you expecting the Bentley to be as competitive as it has been round here? I mean, there's quite a few of them in the top sort of 10, 15, isn't there?
Yeah, we expected it. We actually picked the car not because of it's fast around Monza, but we know it's fast. So
Certainly looks it. And of course, your teammate out there at the moment, Dominic, doing a good job. How are you feeling with jumping in the car soon? Are you jumping in at the first stop, or is it going to be a bit later on?
In first stop, yes, in 10 minutes. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't want to screw it up, and we'll see how the race will shuffle with the first pit stops. I think it will be crucial to see if the transfers will work as it should, and we'll see. I hope it will work, and we can still push on for the first place in class.
Well, this is sim racing. You never know whether anything's going to work right or go wrong. You've got the very strangely menacing bright pink Audi behind you of Wolf Matuszka at the moment. And Wolf, as you'll have seen, has got some real good pace on him. Do you reckon you're going to have a race-long battle with these guys, or do you reckon that you'll be able to hold him off?
Yeah, we are fighting with him basically the first hour. I think it's going to be a great fight. I hope we'll have great fight even with the first McLaren. I hope we can catch him.
Yeah, Killian's doing a good job in that McLaren at the moment, and it's good to see the variation of the cars, but are you surprised by how quick the Porsches are around here?
I'm actually very surprised. I was expecting them to be quick, but not that quick. I was watching the first couple of laps where they were fighting, the first 4 together. It was insane, I have to say. They really enjoyed themselves.
Yeah, definitely. It was the first couple of laps. I mean, we were expecting a lot of battling over the course of this race, but wow, those first few laps really did catch us out. But it's been epic to watch. But your teammate now under pressure from Wolf, so we'll leave you to go and focus on what's going on there, mate. But before we do let you go, do you want to give a quick shout out to anyone on stream?
I want to have a shout out for our community, Motodomek. Hey, give a thumbs up, give a like, comment or something in the chat. So, yeah, thank you very much for this.
Yeah, not a problem. Good to speak to you, Ray, and good luck when you jump in as well. We'll keep an eye on you.
Very much.
Cheers. Good to speak to you're a second name I can't pronounce there, Connall. It's just great to see that these guys, they've got to keep an eye on everything that's going on, and they all just sound like they're enjoying themselves so much, don't they?
Yeah, it's funny. Normally we get the interview drivers straight after stint. The adrenaline's flowing through them and everything. They sound like they're speaking at 100 mile an hour, never mind racing at 100 mile an hour. But yeah, it's a strange, interesting dynamic to speak to somebody pre-race. Literally, I mean, probably 10-15 minutes as we see his teammate getting very, very loose. Yeah, speaking to someone just before the race, he seems a little nervous when he was speaking, but I think he was very well composed in that interview. He gave a great interview, so I think he's ready for this race, and he will be buoyed by the fact that Sarnecki in 4th has just received a drive-through.
Yeah, very, very odd there for that one, but again, it is for a lap 1 collision with the 110 car, which is now down in 18th. That was the McLaren that went around. Interested to see this battle now, though, isn't it, Kyle? Zachary Royal and Igor Ogrodnikov, they were fighting at the very beginning of the race for first and second, and now, well, just due to pace of Zachary Royal, he's dropped down, but Igor's got the drive-through and come through. Wolf's just gone ahead as well, but look at these Porsches go. This is great.
Yeah, great racing throughout the field. So Wolf getting past, and then Igor trying to get past Royal as well. 2 of them dicing in the beginning of the race. It just shows how much time Royal lost in his first stint. He was running in the front with these boys. And Igor, after the drive-through, 31 seconds, and he's back dicing with Royal again. He's got the outside line for the chicane. He's going to go deep around the outside and try and make it onto the inside for the second. They're side by side. A bit of rubbing is racing, and Igor shows him the door and shows him towards the outside of the track. Gave him the option. We're either going to crash or you're going to let me through. Yeah. And Zachary Royal deciding, no, I'll let you go, mate. I'll let you go. You can have that one. Niels van der Kolk moving himself up into 9th from side max. Great drive from him. But interesting to see, though, from Wolf. I mean, we watched Wolf in the GT3 mixed. He finished in the top. I think he actually finished second, or he won that one. And his teammates actually won out the GT4, and he was chatting to me about the testing that they've been focusing on for this race. They didn't do much testing for the mixed event we had on Thursday, but they spent most of the time testing for this in the Audi, and they wanted to stay in the Audi to keep themselves, they don't want to have too much input for this actual race. So they've been preparing for this for some time now. So nice to see them up there and showing the pace, and we know that the number 2 driver is just as quick.
Yeah, they've got to be confident knowing that as well, coming into the race. Just coming back to the Igor move, though, he said he showed him the door. I think he put his head through the door. He absolutely said, no, you are not having this, mate. And like you say, it's a case of you're either going to let me go past or we're going to have an accident. But that was really respectful overall, though, to be fair. They were on the limit of making it a bit too argy-bargy, but at the same time, very entertaining for us lot in the commentary box as well. Samir Ibrahimi is just ahead now of the 666 car that's not having the most straightforward of races, in 39th position at the moment. That's Humberto Maghetti in the McLaren. Behind them, Mika Novakovsky is in 40th place, and we have lost Mikel Ramos in the number 55 Aston, as I mentioned earlier. Let's have a bit of an update from the Lexus here. Connall seems like he's all out on his own at the moment, is Prasansky.
Yeah, the Lexus is my car of choice in SEC, so very much a bit of a favourite of mine. I really want the Lexus to be up at the front, so it's well, maybe I don't actually, because I'm not at the front in my races, so I can use the car as an excuse still, but no, I can't. It's all me. But yeah, no, interesting to see Larenk, the lone Mercedes, in the sort of solo battle between Lexus and Mercedes. Larenk has just got the edge there. He's a couple of positions ahead. But yeah, the Lexus on its own. I've raced at Monza. I struggled personally with the Lexus on tyre management. So I don't know if anyone else, maybe someone in chat who has driven the Lexus, might be able to give similar feedback. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he manages the tyres in this stint.
Yeah, definitely. And to be honest, I can't resist. We're going to go back on board for a second because I'm going to just turn the volume up. We're going to have a bit of an immersion moment here. The comms will go quiet for a sec. We're going to turn the volume up and listen to the Lexus for about half a lap. Now, the funny thing to note here is the fact that the guys in the commentary box with me won't have been able to hear that because I'm streaming things to them without audio at the moment. So, apologies for that. I've actually just had Kyle say, should I be able to hear this? I'm sorry, mate, but no. But yeah, what a great sounding car that Lexus is, though. Amazing stuff. Lucas Rommel, by the way, has managed to get himself a drive-through penalty. Not that that is an achievement, Kyle.
No, it's not something you're aiming for. It's not like, hey, let me see how many drive-throughs I can get through in this race. So it's not an achievement. You don't unlock anything by getting a drive-through, unfortunately. So Rommel hampering his race even more so now. I mean, we've seen him in fights and run off the track and run into the back of people and miss the first chicane. So definitely not having a good time of things. I think that drive-through might actually be for track limitations, if not an incident. I'm not seeing anything from Michael, but it's a comedy of errors throughout this race. I mean, but speaking of that, we saw Schill get taken out in the lap 1 incident with Igor. We were trying to guesstimate whether it was contact or not. We found out later it was, but he's currently the fastest car on the circuit at the moment, sitting down in 31st place. But unfortunately, he had to make a pit stop to repair the car. It'll be interesting to note if he put tires and fuel, and he will be running longer than what the rest of these cars are, as we can start expecting people to come in for their stop.
Yep, driver swaps are going to be underway. Well, I think they are already underway, actually. Some of them are coming through. Let's just have a quick look then. So Zachary Royal is in the pit lane. Jordi Zveyes is in there with him as well. I'm going to get your name right one day, mate. Then we have also another name that I'm no good at as well. Hind Saig in the Aston Martin also coming in. But it's a bit of a nerve-wracking time for these guys, isn't it, Connall? Because not only do you have to count on the pit stop going right, but it's the fact that you've got to then get used to the car again as soon as you're in it.
Yeah, you've spent about 20-30 minutes on worn tyres and a low fuel load, which, as you know, is very, very different to a full fuel load and fresh tyres. So it does take a couple of laps to get used to it, and especially if you're in a battle with somebody when you're leaving pit lane, you might not get a chance to get settled in. So mistakes can be made quite easily coming out of pit lane in the first few laps. But it'll be interesting to see now. We've seen Ibrahimi. He is still out there. When he does his driver swap, it'll be interesting to see the lap time comparison with guys that are chasing him, with the second drivers of the teams that are chasing them, as we see a battle of Dominic, of course the teammate Uri we were just speaking to in chat and having an interview with. He's just being passed by, who's that? That's the Porsche of Igor.
It was.
So Igor making his way back up through the field.
Yeah, Ogorodnikov making his way up there. They've actually got, behind them on track there, is the Mercedes that we all know and love. However, he's not having the most straightforward of races at the moment, is he? To be honest, as the Bentley comes in the pits. Just ahead as well there is the Audi coming in the pit lane. Just trying to see which one that was. Have you seen something? Oh, it's cooking on gas. He's in the McCoven Racing is in the pit lane in the 261 Audi. Just going to quickly look at our race leader as well, Sami Ibrahimi, and to be honest, Kyle, he's untouchable at the minute, but we'll have to see what happens in the pit stops when they get that other driver in, won't we? Because you never know how much it can change.
Yeah, I think the true comparison is going to be Kreuzer versus Ibrahimi's teammates, to get a good comparison between the two drivers. There's no circuit where two drivers are the same, and there's no circuit where two drivers can match each other exactly. It's very rare that you get that within a team, especially in SimWorld and is on different circuits as well. So Ibrahimi might be the faster of the two drivers here. They go to Silverstone, and it might be the other way around. So it'll be nice to see the comparison between two drivers and see what the difference is. But a Courtney making a good move to move himself up, in the stops, and might be running a bit longer. I have seen guys in endurance races in ACC run almost an hour and a half in the car. So it'll be interesting to see as well how far Ibrahimi goes into this race.
Yeah, there's a lot of commitment from a lot of guys in sim racing. I mean, on certain platforms, I've seen people even go up to 6 hours in a car in one go, and to be honest, I think you've got to be quite, frankly, mad to do that. We are going to be taking a break in just a second. We've just hit the 1 hour mark, everyone. We're just in the commentary box. Just need to take a bit of a drinks break just to make sure everyone's all good. And in the background there, by the way, we had a little bit of a scrap between Zviers. I'm just trying to find out where he's gone on the timing tower. He's moved way up and down. Am I going blind, everybody? Am I going blind? I think I may be, but I'll try and find him. Lucas Kreuzer is in the car, by the way. It was actually him that was going past the Lamborghini. We're going to do what we call an immersion break. So for just a minute, we're going to go on board for a couple of laps with a car of your choice. We're not actually talking a specific numbered car. We're talking just a manufacturer. So do chuck a manufacturer in there, and we'll see which gets the most votes within the next sort of minute or so, and we'll go on board with that. Yeah, you mentioned Super GT doing 12 hours of Bathurst. There's a guy called Ian Plash that you must have a look for on YouTube. He's known as RAR Chevette. He's a very, very good streamer and video maker on iRacing, and he does 24-hour races on his own for charity. For I believe it's I can't remember the name of it now, very stupidly. Something Wings, I can't remember the name of it, sorry. We've had 2 votes for the Bentley. Oh, Bolton says Ginetta, yeah. Let's jump on with the Ginetta, shall we? No. Porsche, well, to be honest, the Bentley got the votes first, and I'm thinking we're going to go and jump on. We'll go on with Alex Leaf was flying around before. Where's his teammate gone? Now the drivers are changing over, you see, so I'm not used to who's who. Brilliant. So we'll go with Sam Cairns. Sam Cairns, go in with their Bentley as he's just come out of the pit lane now. So please do stick around, everyone. We're just going to go on a bit of a break for maybe 2-3 minutes, and we'll be right back with you on the sim grid. Welcome back, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed that dose of V8 goodness from the Bentley, and my goodness, what a great sounding car. Back here on the sim grid, Chaz Draycott here with Kyle Lawrence and Connall Courtney, here for the 3 hours of Monza in the Sim Grid Endurance Cup. We hope you're enjoying yourselves at the moment. Chris Hoker has taken over in the number 99 Porsche that's leading the race, and it's the 991 of Luca Vidalik at the moment that has taken over from his teammate as well. And James Bacon, who has very quickly become my favourite driver in the race, is in 3rd place, Connall, and, well, let's hope he brings home the bacon.
Yeah, pun intended there, folks. Yeah, no, James Bacon making me quite hungry. He, of course, his original driver was Killian Ryan Meenan, the Irishman. He has now jumped in the car. He is the leading silver driver. For those who have just joined us, the race is split into 3 classes. You will see on the left-hand side of your screen, white backgrounds to numbers signifies pro drivers, black signifies pro-am, and silver or the grey, obviously the silver class. But yeah, very interesting dynamics here. Is Lucas Cruiser, crucial point here, drive through penalty, not good. It was just been cleared. I don't know if he's just served it. I think he just served. Yes, he has. He's just come out of pit lane, so not a great start for Lucas Cruiser. I'll be interested. I'll have to check with Michael and see whether that was a a track limits issue or an incident issue.
Yeah, it's a shame to see them drop down like that as well. He's now got there's a McLaren ahead of him on circuit anyway. I believe, just have a quick check and see which one of them that is. It is the number 112, Michael Volkering, a very bright green McLaren. And to be honest, I mean, even if you get in the road car, Kyle, you'd have a proper bright colour on one of these things, wouldn't you? Because I see a lot of people, they get the black ones. Yeah, it looks nice, but it just doesn't stand out. And I think you'd want a car like that sort of McLaren to be really shouty, wouldn't you, if you bought one?
No, you're not buying one to fit in with the car, are you? You're buying one to stand out. So
yeah.
You're not going to buy it in a white or a black or a simple grey or silver color. You want it to be out there and loud, and he's done that. He's going to lose a place now to Kreuzer. I don't think that's 4th position actually. Oh, it is 2. It is 2.
Yeah.
So Kreuzer making a move up there, but unfortunately drive-through penalties. So not all going their own way, and that's now thrown all the strategy that they had out the window. I mean, they're losing almost a lap when they come in for a drive-through, for a pit stop, and now they've lost another 30 seconds for a drive-through. So definitely not having it all their own way. The Sidemax Motorworks team, one of the teams that we were tagging as being a potential front runner or a possible winner of this 3 hour. I don't know how these guys do it. I can't pay attention for longer than 15 minutes. They are for 3 hours.
Yeah, honestly, I just get distracted by what's going on outside my house, because I can see from the window from where my sim rig is. I was just trying to find out which of the Audis that was there that was having a bit of a ding-dong. Johannes Vey, and just ahead of him now there's a Porsche in there as well. We're just waiting for the sector times to tick over, because there's been a bit of a shift around there. I think these are actually lap traffic for these guys ahead. That was one of the Audis in front there, just a little bit in trouble, I think. Yes, it is Eric de Klerk, no relation to Charles Leclerc, but Jovery Motorsport, he's Dutch as well actually, so it's a French flag turned on its side. And to be honest, Chaz has got it wrong, because he's not even French, he's actually Monegasque. So I'm going to move away from that and save myself this massive hole I'm digging. And here is the Lamborghini, lights ablaze on Joachim Stensnaeus' car now. Looks absolutely menacing. I love the front of the Lamborghini Huracan. It's a gorgeous car. Owen Wenlock is just behind in the Bentley. And I've seen Owen driving in the practice session before, and he is very quick in the big old canal barge. So we'll see how he gets on. Phil Vitt is another name that I recognise. He's in the pink, very pink Audi. And Vasily Anufriev, I think. Anufriev? That sounds better. Anufriev. The like and subscribe team. And make sure you do like and subscribe. We're currently on 69 likes. Nice. At the moment. So if you can get that up to 100, everybody. We've got over 100 people watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. He knows as well. He's flashing away. He says, look, stream, here I am. But yeah, if you can all like and subscribe, make sure you hit the bell icon as well for notifications of future videos from the SimGrid. We have the rest of this season coming up for you, don't forget. We have 4 rounds. Next one is on the 8th of August at Silverstone. Chaz Draycott in the booth here with Kyle Lawrence and Connall Courtney as well. And we're having a great time, aren't we, Connall? It's a great race to be covering for the start of the season, and to be honest, a great community behind it all, and the racing itself has been fantastic.
Yeah, well, I've said earlier on in the broadcast that I've been spoiled so far while covering these races with the sprint races that we've had. We've had Sprint Cup, we've had GT4 launch night, and the racing and the action there has been absolutely phenomenal. Going into this race, you would think 3 hours, it might be a little more spread out, it might be more conservative, but we've seen in that first hour, no, it's not the case. People were just treating it as their stint is 60 minutes long or however long, and we are going to go at it hammer and tongs. I'm just looking at the chat, and there's a lot of questions about the number 96 car. Of course, that would be Van der Kokel's team. If you scroll down on the time screen, right at the back, 6 laps down. So I don't know what has happened to those guys. Right at the front, they were at the start of the race, really fighting for the higher positions, at least the top 10 anyway. So disappointing that Aston for Van der Kokel. The Side Max Motorworks guys sort of regarded as one of the factory teams to be in the SimGrid as of the past few events. So yeah, really disappointing for those guys.
Yeah, it's strange that such a thing has happened, and hopefully they can get it back out. But like you say, 6 laps down, there's not a lot of coming back from that over the course of a 3-hour race. Rafael Borges Ballerini is apparently in the pit lane. I think we may have lost them actually from the race in 13th. I cannot click on them and get them to come up on screen. So, they're just changing driver. I think that's why. No, they're not. Camille is actually now up into 13th place. So something has gone on there. I believe a disconnection maybe for Ballerini. I'll try and get Michael to confirm. He's doing 1,000,001 other things in the background as well. So bless him, he is working hard. Ooh, that was a bit of a moment there from the Audi. And interestingly enough, it's Nico Hillebrand's teammate who is actually going to be lined up for an interview any second now. So we'll have a word with him in a minute. Do you boys want to do rock paper scissors for who gets to interview him, or shall we just flip a coin or something?
My vote is Chaz.
Sorry?
My vote's Chaz.
Well, I want to sit firmly on the fence and say Chaz then.
Okay. Well, let the chat decide. Do you want Chaz, me, Kyle, or Connall to interview Nico, and we'll see what the jury decides. We're currently looking at Schumpeter at the moment in 13th position in the number 44 car, flying along in the Porsche, and Michael has joined us back in the commentary box. We're just deciding on a vote from the chat who is going to interview Nico, because we've got one big fence and we're all sat on it at the moment, and it's the number 557 Audi which we saw. It's Max Hacklander, and that is a hell of a name. What a brilliant name that one is. And we've only got one vote, and it says Chaz, and that'll go with the consensus from these boys as well. So we'll drag Nico in and have a word then. Nico, good to see you, mate. How do you feel like your race is going so far from your perspective?
Hello, everyone. It's been chaotic. Started P26, and obviously it's quite tight around here, especially for turn 1. So we had a bit of a spin accident and all that. But went up to P12. We're quite happy in the place we are at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, to be honest. It's been great progress from you guys. I've just had info from Michael that Max is a real-life driver as well, so you must have a bit of confidence now he's in the car as well to carry on your pace, because it's been very exciting to watch you guys come up the order. And do you think you'll carry on getting more positions?
I certainly hope so. I mean, we're going to get a little bit hindered due to a mistake from our part regarding sign-up stuff and all that. But I hope that we're going to stay in the top 20. So yeah, Max obviously, he's driving GT Masters. He has some experience with this car in real life for some years already on the Nordschleife as well. And having him by my side, of course, besides knowing him for almost 10 years now, is of course confidence booster.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely something that, as a teammate, you can be very happy with. Just talking balance and performance for a second. I know this is a sore subject, so you can sue me if you want. Balance and performance at Monza doesn't really favour the Audi and the Aston. When you were coming into this race, did you think it was going to be a bit of a struggle? I mean, did you think you were going to be as high up as you are?
I honestly expected, like last time I saw the Porsche drive here, it was quite a bit slower, so I didn't expect the Porsches to be quite that fast. I knew with, while we were doing the setups and all that and doing practice, it was going to be an uphill battle, definitely. But yeah, I mean, every race is going to be difficult. It's only 3 hours. That means, you don't have to bother with the race for too long. But of course, you also have far less time to actually make moves if you mess up in qualifying or something. So.
Yeah, that's very true indeed, and it's quite strange how, despite the race being that long, how quickly it can turn on its head, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to be fair, I kind of expected this with 41 cars, and we started right in the thick of it. But yeah, we somehow got through. Sadly, our sister car was involved in an accident on lap 1, but yeah, we're hoping that they can recover a bit as well.
Yeah, well, we hope as well for you guys that it continues to go as well as it's doing. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Audi, and you guys are only the 3rd Audi at the moment that's up there. Of course, you've got Witchak just ahead, so plenty to fight for. Before we let you go though, Nico, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to on the stream, mate?
I want to give a shout out to yeah, of course, first of all, my parents, who are letting me shout all I want while I stream here at the moment.
Love it.
And then, of course, to my team as well, the guys who are sitting with me in the channel, in the other Discord. Then to community of Cyanide, who I've been driving with for the last couple of weeks, and it's been a lot of fun getting to know all these guys, because we have such a diverse community there with complete beginners and some guys who are completely already into this. And of course, to my team boss, René Butler, who, without whom all this wouldn't be possible. So, yeah.
Cracking. Well, nicely said, Nico. Great to speak to you, mate, and we hope that the rest of the race goes well for you. We might speak to you later on.
Right, thanks a lot, guys. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much, Nico. Cheers. Nico Hillebrand there, and another great character there, Kyle, and it just shows you as well that while we do enjoy watching these races, it just adds that extra bit of, I don't want to say niceness, because I hate the word nice, but it makes it all more pleasant knowing that there's such great guys behind the wheel of these cars.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of professionalism there. Well done, Martin Brundle. Hats off to you for that interview. No, it's quite nice. It's quite nice to have the guys to chat to and get a bit of background information. I would never have thought that Max Hacklander was a real driver in GT Masters. I never would have known that. Now I've got some more information to in my brain and know about this race. So it's always a nice touch of professionalism to get the drivers in and have a chat to them during the stream and give us stuff that inside information we would never have known otherwise. But Max doing a great job there. She's coming out of under a bit of pressure there from is that Schumpeter?
Yeah, Schumpeter in the Porsche there, number 44. So some great sounding cars all together fighting through Ascari, and you can see I think they may be thinking about track limits now here, Connall, because they're going very cautious through Ascari, aren't they?
Yeah, we haven't seen as many DTs come through, but we may have seen some coming out now. As the yellow flags are out, they've been cleared. Might have just been a run on. I want to give a shout out. I'm just reading through the chat. Excuse me if I get it wrong. Ritwit, RITWHT, who's mentioned he was in the car number 89 to start with, qualified 37th on the grid, and I had a solid stint up to P22. So that is significant progress. And on a track like this, it's difficult to sort of get away from guys that you're battling with to move up to 22nd. Very, very impressive indeed. So fair play to you for a great stint, and I hope your team goes well.
And here it is, the number 89 Aston. It's currently Kyle Friesen in the Madhouse Racing NA car, and he's trying to Friesen the Lexus in front of him. He's not too frightened at the minute, though. I'm sorry, I told you it was coming. But to be honest, when you're chasing a car like that, like the size of the Lexus, we'll go on board now. You can see the lights as well lighting up the back of these cars. Now, one thing that I absolutely adore about a set of Corsa Competizione is the lighting at night. It is just so top notch and it looks amazing. We did the Coach Dave tournament finals at Kyle Army and we had Porsches chasing each other, exhausts glowing, pops and bangs everywhere, and it just looks insane when you're on board with the car in front. You could have thought it was a real genuine TV footage from a real race, because it's just scary realistic. And something else that's quite scary actually, boys, we've got Chris Hoker still leading this race. We're just about to hit the halfway point here, Kyle. That's come out of nowhere.
Yeah, what? When did that happen? Sorry.
It's nearly Monday.
I'm going back to work just now. No, this race has flown by. I mean, Chris Hooker and teammates, they've done a great job. Really just hammered down, disappeared. I think it was Ibrahimi who was his teammate. Thanks for coming, boys. We're just gonna carry on our own and go join Class A. You guys have fun there in Class B. But we were on board there with Carl. Or is it Luke? Is it Luke or is it Carl?
Kyle. It was Kyle in the Aston Martin, and he's actually all over the back of the Lexus again. So we'll go on board again. There you go.
So it's definitely Carl, not Luke. But we're on board with him now behind the Lexus. The sad thing with the Lexus, I don't think there are many liveries for option on the Lexus here in ACC, and it's a great looking car though in the livery that it's in as they head up into the Parabolica now. Carl is a very much close, and that way he's losing a position though. Down the inside goes a Ferrari. That is a Schill moving himself up into 22nd place. So they haven't stopped yet. So he must have fueled that car. Oh,
sorry, but just to quickly go back to this here. This Lexus just becomes a rocket ship. He joined the Tesla space program, hitting that curb. Whoa! Oh my goodness me! That's not going to do the bottom side of that car any good. And look, he's lost 2 places now because of the run. Sorry, Kyle, carry on.
No, I was just saying he must have definitely stopped. But down the inside, he's going to dive it down the inside into the chicane. Going to get it stopped on the apex. He does so, but can't quite carry the mid corner to get past the Aston Martin there of Carl. So Carl managing to hang on to that position and stay ahead of the Lexus, but Schill got a lot of pace on him. Check out, he's checked out from these two. So Schill moving himself up into 21st place. He must have fueled the car in that stop to repair the damage because he's been out there for quite some time.
Yeah, Schill has actually just set the fastest lap of the race on the last lap. He did a 1:48.8. Significant. Gregor Schill is on the pace. The number 88 Coach Dave Academy. We know that car is going to be set up well using the Coach Dave Academy setups, and he is on the pace, making a charge. Of course, he has been struggling ever since that incident at the very start, coming out of the chicane, the first chicane, lap 1 of the race, 3 hours to go. He had a big accident. That was huge. He had to recover. He was down in last on the grid, and he has had to recover. Doing well. I think that's a good job so far up to 21. When you have an incident like that, you really just need to compose yourself. I think he's done a great job of composing himself, and of course he has in front of him quite a lot of silver and Pro-Am drivers who will not factor in on his championship. So if he can get in front of Weber, if he can get in front of Lucas Cruiser as well, which will be key, of course he will be a guy that will be featuring in this championship, his team you would expect. But if Gregor can get up to those guys and take points off them, I think that will be a good damage limitation drive indeed.
Definitely, and that's all it's about now, that phrase, damage limitation. The Ferrari, honestly, it's like a fireworks show, the back of the Ferrari. They do really pop and bang that much in real life as well. I don't know what it's always been about Ferraris, but they honestly, they backfire so much, it's unreal. Doing a smashing job. And Matt Beavis is, let's just have a look, 9th from 30th. Yeah, Malo TCR has said that. And yeah, we saw this car earlier, actually, the Rookie Monsters car. 30th on the grid. Last time they checked in with us, they were in 15th place. So they are flying up through the order. And that Aston doing a really good job. But yeah, as I was saying, the Ferrari, they just pop and bang everywhere. He's actually catching Volkering really quickly here. And he's already going to go down the inside into Lesmo 2. McLaren gives him plenty of room on the exit as well. Side by side, and Gregor Schill, oh, he gets a bit of a kiss there as well. He says, oh, that's a nice Ferrari you've got there. Give me a bit. Through he goes. But Gregor Schill, he's on a proper mission now, although Volkering is trying to stop his charge a little bit here. And to be honest, I say that the Ferrari's a fire breather. The McLaren and all of their road cars have always been fire breathers as well. But Schill now breaks into the top 20. And through he goes. Ballerini definitely, by the way, looks like he's had a disconnection. So I'm afraid that we will not be seeing them in the rest of the race. I think that's the number 24 car. So you've got Chris Hoker leading the race then in the number 99. Luca Vedelic is in second in the 991 car. James Bacon is in third place in the SRJ Motorsport 125 car. And Vasily Anufriev is in fourth. And there's a great scrap going on there. Just behind him, that is one of the pink Porsches, or the pink Porsche, and there's an Audi in there as well. The Audi is not Phil Vitt, because there is Phil. Trust me, you know when you see that car. And just coming as well, just coming back to the whole visuals, I mean, all we've done at the moment is dribble all over Assetto Corsa Competizione, because it looks so good, it sounds so good. But the muck on the cars as well, building up over the course of a race. Now, I don't know what your take on this is, Kyle, because I love a clean car. I like it when they all look newly wrapped and just spot on ready for a race, but I don't quite think much beats a proper battered, mucky, grubby GT3 car at the end of a long race. What do you think?
Yeah, you definitely know the car's done a bit of work then. You're like, okay, this car's done its job, it's done its work. You know, I run a racing team for my day job, so it isn't something we like to see because we're the ones that have to clean it and get it right for the next race. But it does let you know that the car's worked, and it does.
There's a traffic jam.
Incident to the first. Oh, there's your teal-coloured McLaren doing a donut in the middle there, and he's taking out another driver.
That was cool, boys. They're not going to be cool with that.
Oh, poor rejoin there, and he's caused another driver to turn around, unfortunately. So that's...
Yeah, there's the Lambo trying to sneak their way through as well. The Bentley in there manages to get out of the way just about, but what a nightmare. That's James McGuinness in the number 1. But I was just trying to see which of the Audis that was. It wasn't. It was Eric de Klerk. Oh, the 666 is around again. Andreas Specht. And that's not been spec'd to how he wants it. And the Bentley as well. That's actually the P6 car, I believe. It is. That's Ure. And he's battling with, I think that's Owen Wenlock. It is Owen Wenlock right behind as the Lexus goes off as well. What's happened? It's happy hour at the pub or something, isn't it, Connall?
Yeah, it seems that way. Well, we do get into that. You know, we've halfway into the race in 30 seconds time. Officially, we're halfway into the race. You know, we have mixed fields on track at the minute. We've guys lapping people, being passed for position. So it's all over the place at the minute. Guys just need to settle down. That incident T1 sort of reminded me, just as we go through here, it reminds me of the Vettel Stroll incident from not too long ago in Formula 1.
Oh, goodness me.
So hopefully we don't get too many more of them as we see Bentley on Bentley here. This is beautiful action.
Cheshire's
if we
finest.
Get them in harmony, that would sound very nice indeed.
Here we go then. So halfway through this race then, we hear the little call out. 65 minutes for one stint, says Gilberto Rodriguez. Yeah, that sounds about right. We've got a couple of drive-throughs. Number 11 drive-through for collision with car 180 on lap 33, and car 3 drive-through for collision with car 556. The two Bentleys.
Down the inside, yeah.
Yeah, just I tell you what, that 666 car's a lawnmower. It's not a McLaren. Look at that from Owen Wenlock. What a beautiful move that was. Let's just go back and see this one again. Go on the helicam. He just squeezes the nose off it through there, manages to save a little bit of the slide, and through he goes. And of course the car behind them as well was for position, I believe. Yes, it's Matt Beavis, yes. And then Michael Mund is the next car back in the Aston Martin further away. So this is all a battle for position. That 666 McLaren, which I said was one of my, well, probably my favourite livery as well before the race started, has now actually become a bit of a nuisance for these boys. But he's keeping the grass in check. But wow, it just shows you again though, doesn't it, Kyle? Once the driver changes happen, it completely switches the dynamic of the race on its head. And these guys all get different pace in every single car, and the field just has that accordion effect again where it all just mixes together.
Oh, you're not showing us a replay of lap 1. This is still halfway in the race.
Yes.
It's literally like we're watching a replay of lap 1. These boys are going at it like this, trying to get accustomed to the people they're racing with, the car the way it is. The track temperature's dropped down by 5 degrees now, so the car's going to feel a little bit different to what it did earlier on, as we see the green Bentley have a go at Wenlock again down the straight into Parabolica. We're on board with Beavis now, but just in front of him, they are side by side. Going around, the long way around will be that of Yuri Europe, but is he going to make a stick, get on the power nice and hard and early? But it looks like that Wenlock is going to have the run down to the first chicane, and that's just allowed Beavis ever so close, just a little bit closer to the back of them. And if they trip over each other into the first chicane, we're going to see Beavis go up 2 places.
We are indeed. Cheshire's finest going side by side into the first chicane. I only live a mile from the factory. I'll hear the groans from here if they get it wrong. Let's have a look then. No, nice and tidy to be fair. Beavis is just... I don't want to know who his co-driver is, but Beavis at the moment is just hold on to this. If you got that, then I'm sorry. He's just watching these Bentleys. It's like watching 2 council houses slap into each other, isn't it, on a racetrack, really? Watching these Bentleys that go around, but it's entertaining all the same. You can see the gearbox shining through there behind the massive splitter on these Bentley Continental GTs. And gorgeous they are indeed, I must say. Although...
I prefer the older one.
Through the first Lesmo, though, Beavis is, well... this team has done a smashing job at the moment, because like we've seen in the chat, they started 30th. The sun's coming out a little bit there. The cloud cover's been quite predominant in this race. But if the cloud cover, well, there's no other word for it really, buggers off, to be honest, in this situation, Connall, and it gets a bit brighter, with the track getting even hotter, it might get more difficult for these guys.
Yeah, I mean, normally when you're at a race meeting, you see the clouds clear and you see the sun coming down, you're quite happy. But for some of these guys, they might not be too happy because it might ruin their strategy or it might destroy the tyres if the track temperature picks up. Of course, tyres, the most critical thing in any form of motorsport. So to see this track temperature rise, and if it rises 5, 6, 7 degrees, you could see the race being spun on its head yet again. But still, we have the main man, 14 seconds up the road, Chris Hope. He was left, I think he was left very fortunate. Ibrahimi did a stellar job. He's got Chris Hope in the car now, as we're on board with him. There's a lot of love in chat I see for this team, which I'm not even going to even attempt, but you know the team, it's right in front of you. Yeah, but Chris Hoke is in the car now. We've got it from Matthias again in chat, and we have Vicky Thompson. We have Vicky Thompson getting into the car after Chris Hoke. So I believe, to Michael's knowledge, Vicky is the only female driver out in this race today. So Vicky, looking good, her team.
Yeah, definitely. And the Lilac Army are out in chat, it seems. They really are. They absolutely love it. I want to join the Bacon Army, because it is James Bacon in 3rd place, leading the silver class at the moment in the SRJ Motorsport McLaren. Just behind them is Vasily Anufriev in the Porsche. Now they've got some lap traffic to deal with in front of them there. That's the number 137 car of Wirt Vivort. That's the name that you don't want to say after a couple of pints. He's got the Aston Martin just in front of him there of Nathan Pearce. That is the number 180 car, and hopefully it doesn't do a 180 at any point in this race. And then the next car on track in front of him is actually a lap down, I believe. I'm just trying to check out which number that is. It's the number 17, yes, that's Azat Shehin, who we saw actually go in the wall in practice, just in the warm-up before the race. So the team, I'm going to go immersion mode now. The team have done a great job of getting that car repaired before it got it out in the race. Of course, not a lot of work to do, but it's wide there. That's Lucas Rommel, or it was Lucas Rommel's car anyway. Just going off at the first chicane. You can see the gravel doing its job there, slowing him down. But this is the thing now, isn't it, Kyle? When they get to the lap traffic, no matter where you are in the field, you're not immune to a bit of argy-bargy or getting held up, as we see the Bentley and the Aston having a fight.
Yeah, Wenlock actually just getting away from that fight now, so it's the Bentley and the Aston of Beavis. I did get you a joke of this co-driver. Well done. Good one. Maybe I'm just from that era. But Beavis all over the back of him here now. He's going to be close enough to have a move into the chicane, but lap traffic is going to be a problem for all these drivers throughout the field. Not only for those doing the lapping, but those being lapped as well, because they're in dices of their own. And it's not as if everybody in this field is, not sufficiently talented. We saw the lap times of qualifying. Everybody here is sufficiently talented enough to be on the pace. It's just different fuel saving mods and issues throughout the racing and things like that create these gaps and people getting lapped and over 3 hours, half a second. Beavis down the inside. He's going to bail out of it though due to lap traffic and a bit of ignoring the blue flags here, I think, from the Audi. Definitely could have moved over a lot sooner than what he has now.
It's
And in
getting
fact,
a flash
doesn't
as
look like
well,
he's
actually.
moving over.
The
So
Bentley
he's
was
in a bit of
saying,
trouble there from the Bentley, just saying, please just move over there, please, son, and let us go through. He does eventually. We have seen a couple of penalties come through because of ignoring blue flags from the stewards.
yeah, it's difficult really when you are lap traffic around a track like this, because if you let off just that tiny bit, the amount of time that you're going to lose down the straight is just second to none. There's so much. Bolton has just said as well, when you follow the Bentley, you can't see a damn thing past it. It's massive, and like I said, it's like a council estate. Honestly, chasing that thing around, it's just crazy. Trying to get over it's like trying to complete Fort Boyard. It's just mad. But as he goes down the straight, then once again, the Temple of Speed, Monza, of course. I actually had the privilege when I've been to Italy once. I went to Italy last year with my girlfriend, just on a quick 4-day weekend away at Lake Garda, and we realised that Monza was an hour down the road, an hour's drive. So we took our little Fiat 500, blasted it down there, and there was actually a track day on where a lot of the Blancpain GT, it was the endurance series at the time. They were actually like testing there with a lot of TCR cars, and the track was pretty much empty. It was free to get in, and standing in that grandstand, just the one person, like it was the one, obviously me and my partner anyway, we were the only people in that grandstand on the main straight with Audi R8 LMS Ultras and the Huracan GT3 screaming down that straight, and not another person in sight. And it was just so strange and so eerie, but my goodness me, the noise, and they call it the Temple of Speed. It is like a temple because the echoes around here, because of all the trees and everything, it just sounds amazing. But even still, I'm going to stop dribbling over that moment of my life now, and we'll go back on board with with Beavis at the moment as he chases down Svenček. Is it Svenček? I'm not sure. Connall, you're good with these names. What do you reckon?
Exactly what you said, Chaz. Exactly what you said.
Love
it.
That's a cop-out if I've ever heard one.
Do you think he's going to get past his Bentley anytime soon? Because he's hanging onto it well, but the Aston just doesn't seem quick in a straight line unless it's in the slipstream.
Yeah, he's looking menacing, but as long as he can stay calm, he can stay in that slipstream. He just basically has to wait for Svenček to make a mistake. And once he makes a mistake, especially in the sort of Sector 2, Sector 3, he really can then capitalise. But it'd be interesting to note if he does get past Beavis, will he be able to hold it? Because, of course, the Aston losing a bit of top end, it will be slipstreamed quite easily by the Bentley, you would think. But Beavis, he's all over him at the minute.
He is indeed. Blue flags waving as well, of course, for lap traffic. We do actually have Matt Beavis' teammate joins us in the commentary box. Hind, however you say it. I'm sorry if I'm getting it wrong, mate. Welcome to the box. How are you doing in this one? You must be quite happy with how you guys are getting on.
I am excited. You can't imagine how fun that first stint was.
Well, I was going to say, starting 30th and getting all the way up into the top 10, it's a hell of an achievement, mate.
Yeah.
Especially seeing how close it was in quali.
Well, that's the thing. In quali it was close, and I couldn't get the perfect lap in quali. I knew we had maybe 2-3 tenths extra in the car to do in quali, but I didn't manage to get one decent lap together.
Ah, right, okay.
But we assumed that in race we would be a lot quicker than most people ahead of us.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. You've been flying up the order.
Yeah, and currently Matt, he's doing a great job. He's chasing down these two Bentleys, who seem to be slowing him down a little bit. But it's not easy to overtake with the Aston. It's a really bad car on this track, to be honest.
Well, at least you're not a factory team and you don't have to worry about a contract when you say that. But no, to be honest,
exactly.
It's been a great performance so far. We're really enjoying watching you guys go up there as well. The bright yellow highlights on the car make it stand out nicely. We've had comments in chat though, when you're chasing these Bentleys, it's hard to see past them. And do you find that because of the straight line speed disadvantage you've got as well, it's a very tough car to pass, or is it the same as any others?
For me, it's the same as any others. I would just trick them into late braking and then they'd overshoot their first apex and get them on the exit. But the problem with the Aston is, again, out of the slow speed stuff, it just takes so long before it gets up to speed. And that's, I think the only possibility we have to overtake a car here is hoping that in Parabolica they go a bit wide or they have a compromised exit.
Yeah, just so you can get the run down straight.
Exactly, because under braking we can't brake any later than anybody else. And I don't think the visibility behind the Bentleys is much of a problem, but...
Well, we've just had the information coming from Michael as well, who's doing all of the race control here, of course, helping us out and giving us lots of information. He said the Bentley ahead of you guys has just done the 3rd fastest lap on track last time round as well. So the guys ahead have got pace. And to be honest, the cream rises to the top here, and you guys have done that. But now you've got into the top 10, it seems like it's going to be a bit more difficult to gain the extra places. What do you reckon?
Definitely. We were chasing them down a bit, but I suppose since these guys have been battling amongst themselves, that would have probably helped us a lot.
Yeah.
And I think they actually went wide in the 2nd chicane, and that's why we closed the gap of 5 seconds instantly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easy to overdo the chicanes, isn't it, on the way in and then compromise your exit on the way out.
I don't know exactly what happened there because I saw 5 or 6 cars, so maybe it was a blue flag incident. I didn't see what exactly happened to those 2 Bentleys ahead, but I did see that they were on the runoff area in the 2nd chicane for some reason. So
interesting. Well, it's helped you out though.
Exactly, and maybe we can jump them in a pit stop. I don't know. We will see, but we said before the race, if we can make it into the top 10 with the Aston on this track, we consider that a bit of a victory.
Yeah, for sure. That's it. And you guys are the top Aston at the moment in the race. You've got Mund behind you in the race, just 1.7 seconds back at the minute. That's from the next car on track as well from them. So
I think it's around 8 seconds or something. It seems to be quite stable. He was about 4 seconds behind me in the 1st stint, and it seemed that we were running very similar pace. So unless we have incidents, I'm not personally too worried about him. Our drivers are quite equal on pace. So I don't know about the other teams. Maybe they have like a weak link amongst themselves. I'm not sure, but we'll see how it progresses.
For sure, definitely. And before we let you go, mate, I'm going to ask the awkward £1 million question. How exactly do I pronounce your name, just to make sure that I get it right over the rest of the broadcast?
Everybody says Hind or Heinz or whatever, but it's actually pronounced as Hint.
Hint. Okay. And your surname?
Sich.
Sick. Okay, smashing. Well, thank you very much for that, mate. Sorry if that made things a bit awkward, but there's the Bentley in front there. The Bentley's just run wide, and your teammate's got a run now. So I'll let you go and get excited about that one. But thanks for joining us, and we'll speak to you later.
Thank you very much for having me. Let's get this Bentley.
Let's get it. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
So it's Hind. There you go, everybody. Right then. So not Hind like the Russian helicopter. Down the inside then.
That's late.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I was saying, that's late. Sorry,
Oh.
my mic was off, and then I was, it's late, and then I clicked the mic. Oh, sorry, that's entirely my bad, but a great move from Matt Beavers to finally get past that Bentley due to the compromised exits out of Parabolica, as mentioned by his teammate.
Yeah, it's literally like he wished it upon the Bentley there of you, right? So, nicely done. Race leader, though, at the moment, pretty untouchable, isn't it, this 99 car, Connall? It's just flying around at the moment, doing its own thing.
Yeah, Chris and Ibrahimi have done a fantastic job so far. They are all being well, leaving the final driver, Vicky Thompson, with a great lead, a great buffer. Especially with an hour to go, you have to be going considerably faster than the car in front to gain 17 seconds in an hour and 15. So it's not impossible, but it's unlikely now given the pace of these leading cars.
That's for sure. That's for sure. I'm just looking down the order just to see what sort of battles we've got going on. This is Mattia on the back of Walter. Nicholas Walter. Sorry, that's not Nicholas Walter. That is the Lexus. That's the number 2 car, I believe, in front of him. Yes, that's Mikhail Vakta, who's actually a little bit down from the others, or is he? It's updating as if it's a 1/10 of a second. Have we got a second Lexus that we didn't know about? We have. We have got a second Lexus. I thought we only had one Lexus. What's going on here, boys? This is some Inception stuff going on right now. Either way, though, we've got two beautiful sounding V8s. We've got the Mercedes against the Lexus, and we're not too long away from another immersion break. So whether you guys, well, I did say we'd do the Audi, so we're going to go on board with the Audi in a bit, but we'll keep an eye on this battle for now. But the Lexus, though, this one's just come out of nowhere now, so this has blown my mind, because we said it was a solo battle before, Kyle, but that's definitely not the case now. But either way, it looks like it's still tough to pass.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the Merc's having it all its own way to get past there. Almost had the move done and then decided better of it. Let's rather finish the last hour of this race. But with just over an hour to go, if you have a look there, Schull is up to 16th place, with Cruiser up to 12th. So some great driving from the two of them, just to fix some mishaps. One from the driver error side, and one was unceremoniously helped off the circuit in the first lap. So great drive backs from both these drivers. So Cruiser to move himself back up into close to the top 10, and Schull up into the top 20 now, in 16th from the Coach Dave Academy. Great drive in the lone Ferrari. This one we know for sure is the lone Ferrari on the grid.
Yes.
We won't hopefully see another Ferrari just pop out of nowhere. It's definitely the lone Ferrari. But poor Vicky Thompson must be absolutely quaking in her racing boots. With McLaren sideways in the background there. Who was that?
Just trying to figure out which one that was. Was it Chumley? He won't be entering the pageant of power, will he, with that sort of performance? It was Samuel Chumley. I'm sorry. 2 Endurance Team Blue in the 250 car. I think Connall's just got into cardiac arrest, everyone. He's now got Matthias Weber just behind him there in the Porsche, getting a nice view of the back end of that McLaren. Into Ascari they go. Is he going to? No, he's not going to put it down the inside there. But that was a scary moment there, but it just shows you that one little lapse in concentration like that, Connall, if you've stopped laughing, can turn your race around like that, and turn your car around, I suppose.
Yeah, no, can I just say I'm so glad there's a mute button here, because this wouldn't sound as professional as what it has been doing. Oh my god, I wish someone could see whenever we're muting our mics, because it's literally as soon as Chaz says something, it's just instantly muted. But yeah, no, another mistake. We're seeing quite a few mistakes here. It's a difficult track to stay consistent on. I think the curbs have a big thing to do with it. Quite high curbs, and people are using a lot of them. And very aggressive, and you see, cars like the Audi really don't like using a lot of curb. McLaren does get a little bit unsettled as we cut to an Audi here. He doesn't seem to be having a problem with the curbs.
Well, just ahead of him as well as Lucas Cruiser and Michael Mund having a right good battle, and in the hot seat watching this go on is Thiago Lima in the McLaren. Now, whether he's going to take advantage of this or not, we will have to see, but Cruiser is cruising up to the back of Michael Mund, side by side into Ascari. That is brave. Cruiser's going to try and take it around the outside. We've seen that work before. What a great move from Lucas Cruiser. I've seen people do that and it not work, and contact is usually inevitable. But now Lima is going to be able to take advantage of this. We're on 78 likes on the stream, by the way, everyone. We can get to 100, surely. Come on, guys. We've got 134 viewers at the moment. Thank you, everybody. Please do make sure you like and subscribe to the Sim Grid. Guys putting a hell of a lot of work behind the scenes so we can come on here and make puns about drivers' names and make it sound terrible. So I hope you're enjoying yourself anyway. But these guys are certainly enjoying themselves, because what a battle they've got going on at the moment. Max Hacklander is just off the back of this battle in the background. If I could say back any more times, that would be brilliant. But it's just, again, the accordion effect in it, Kyle. It's just so sudden with these chicanes and the straights and the slipstreaming, and it's epic racing, no matter what you say.
Yeah, we've got the yo-yo effect, we call it in where I'm from. It's the accordion, the yo-yo. It's just the difference in braking power and top-end speed, and Lima is definitely, I was expecting you to say, a little bit of a brake check there before the brake marker from the Aston Martin, cheeky, and Lima almost climbing all over the back of him there. So a little bit of a brake check, just to give him enough space to get through that second chicane without any worries. And you can actually see that Portiego has lost quite a bit of time on that Aston Martin. I was half expecting the Razzmatazz Chaz to say climbing all over the back, Lima monkey pun there, but he didn't get it.
I was lining that up, damn it.
So Welcome to the comedy special with Razzmatazz Chaz on the simgrid.com.
Razzmatazz Chaz. Wow. I might have to change my branding name. But this is a good battle at the moment, though. And Lima is chasing down Mund, but Mund just got held up so much by that move by Lucas Cruiser. But that was a hell of a move, though, wasn't it, Connall? And now, of course, the German and Sidemax Motorworks are back into the top 10. Whether he can progress from there, well, he's got still just over an hour to go. Do you reckon he can do it?
It's going to be difficult. Obviously, one of the favourites going into this pole position as well. It's a disappointing result, you have to say. Caught up in a few instances and had a bit of drama, but it is still a long series. We've seen a lot of the front runners having big issues, and who's to say that those big issues don't happen to the number 99 team or the 991 or the 56 car in later races, or even in the last hour of this race. So I think really the attitude really needs to be positive going into it, because it is a long season, because it's 3 hours per race, and you know when you have 3 hours on track, what's that, 4 rounds, that's a lot of time on track.
I can hear you trying to figure that out in your head right now. What you
The
heard?
sad thing is that I'm a qualified accountant.
Remind me never to hire you. I'm joking. Don't forget, check Connall out if you want any accounting done. So just what you heard there as well, by the way, everybody, was witchcraft in practice there. If you mention a lot of drivers in one go, the chances are lightning will strike and the the wonderful commentator's curse will hit one of them from somewhere. This is Gregor Schill, though, a driver that we've just mentioned is doing very well and flying around this circuit at the moment, making up place after place. And hopefully, for his sake, he'll be back into the top 10 very soon. Andrea Rodriguez has got a drive-through penalty. He had a 5-second penalty before. Oh, as one of the McLarens goes straight on. I think that's Volkering. It is. He's doing a bit of reconstruction there of the runoff zone. Manages to get away with that. But Schill is up to P14, as Bolton has said in the chat. It's an amazing drive. Under the radar, though, we have to say, Luka Vidlik and Anufriev has actually got past Bacon. We've missed that one, but Anufriev has passed James Bacon for third place. So maybe he prefers it crispy, or maybe he prefers it soft, but it doesn't matter, because I prefer it soft. And at the moment, Anufriev, I was going nowhere with that. I've run into a brick wall there. Sorry, boys. Anufriev has managed to get back into a podium spot as, James Bacon runs wide there on the gravel. And it looks like it's starting to fall apart a little bit for him there. Maybe struggling with tyres. But Phil Vitt, he's close in the background, though, isn't he here, Kyle? Because he's been really on it. And that Audi has been so fast over the course of this race. There's no reason he couldn't catch up with him and get onto the podium himself.
Sorry, I'm just going to stop crying for a second. But doing absolutely amazingly, both those drivers in that Audi. I mean, I did say to you beforehand that they've spent well over a week testing and put a lot of work into this car at Monza. They've come from absolutely nowhere up to 5th. But he's there. Bacon definitely in a bit of trouble there from Vitt. I mean, they could be all over the back of him very soon. But I don't see this top 4 turning into a dice at any point with an hour left to go. I mean, the gaps are pretty big. But I was saying Vicky Thompson before we saw that McLaren do a 180 there must be absolutely trembling in her boots to climb into the lead of this race with this much gap. The pressure must be absolutely immense.
Yeah, definitely. It's not even like just the fact that you're in the lead as well. I mean, even if you're in a team in an endurance race that's just had a good race or had a good climb through the order, it's pretty mad when you've got to jump in the car and you've got to think about all the work that's gone into getting you to where you are, and the team that's behind you and the other drivers as well, the work they've put in. There's a lot of pressure in these scenarios, and to be honest, I mean, I'm glad that, well, I mean, I'm not quick enough to drive in it, but I'm quite glad, to be honest, that we get up here to sit up here in the commentary box and poke fun at them and say, oh, that must be hard. That must be hard work. Like, it's a point of privilege for us, but still, they are doing an epic job, a really epic job, and I can't wait to see how it continues. We have the Lamborghini here of Jochen Stensnes in 6th position. Owen Wenlock is the next car behind them on track, but Owen is a good just over 7 seconds back. So one of, if not the only Lamborghini on track. I'm a bit cautious about saying that now the Lexuses have duplicated. Stenson Ace, though, at the moment, Connall that car's always been there or thereabouts in the top 10, hasn't it? And it's going to be good points for him and a nice under-the-radar performance.
Yeah, so far so good. Sometimes it's nice to not be seen. That normally means you've stayed out of trouble. As we look at Beavis now in the Aston Martin, he has opened up 1.6 seconds, so he's got that gap. He's now chasing down Owen Wenlock. The gap is only 0.3 of a second, so he's got another Bentley. He's probably going to feel deja vu here. He's got another Bentley that he's chasing down. But Gregor Schill, we've just been receiving word from Michael. Gregor Schill has been the fastest guy on track for around 10 laps so far, of the 10 most recent laps. He's half a second quicker than everyone else on that last lap. So Gregor, I mean, he looks like a one-man team at the minute because he's been out from the very start. As we see, that could be the chance for Beavis to get through on Wenlock. Indeed it is. Will the Aston Martin have the legs? He doesn't quite have the legs, but he does indeed have the inside line. Will Wenlock be able to defend on the switch of direction here? It's going to be close. Hopefully these boys don't outbreak each other. The Aston Martin getting it stopped. Defends the inside on the switchback. Beautiful drive in there. As we see another drive-through for Lucas Cruiser. And yet another one.
Here he is in the pit lane as well, serving it. And the Bentley that was behind Beavis is also in there as well, I believe. That's the 207 of Juraj Kvenček. And Cruiser back through again. That's a real shame for him. But Matt Beavis, what a move that was, down the inside of the Bentley into the chicane. And it was a very, very tasty manoeuvre indeed. These guys, to be honest, I mean, because of the epic comeback they're on at the moment, these have been drivers of the day for me. Definitely, they've just been doing a smashing job. We're just coming up to the final hour of this race now, by the way, everybody. So please do pop one of the names of the manufacturers in chat that we'll go on board with, and I'll completely ignore it because I've already said that we're going to go on board with the Audi. But just at this point of the race, though, boys, I mean, Hoka at the moment leading the way. Of course, Vicky's going to be getting in the car soon. Do you think anyone can get near them? I'll start with you, Connall.
I don't think so. I think he's controlling this race. These guys, we know Vicky, we know Chris, and we know Ibrahimi. These guys very, very composed when they're driving. I hope I don't commentators curse them. But we even got a guy in the chat who said, "Thank you, Jeff. Vicky eats fear for breakfast." So I don't think that's too healthy nutritionally. But in terms of this race, that might be great. So good on Vicky Thompson. Although I advise maybe cereal or something, or some Weetabix for breakfast, maybe.
If she can eat my anxiety away, that'd be great. Kyle, as well, just going to you, mate. It's a hell of a drive up front, and obviously great battles still in the middle of this one. But Gregor Schill and Cruiser, of course, trying to come back up the order now. Cruiser's life has got a bit more difficult. Do you reckon we'll see at least Schill in the top 10 by the end of this?
Oh, easy. I can't actually with you guys anymore because you're actually making me laugh the whole way through this. But I'm blown away by the drive of Hooker and obviously Ibrahimi beforehand. They've done a great job to get their car to where it is. But Schill, we know he's not a one-man team. He's making it look like a one-man team. I think we've been told that there are two other drivers. But look, he's up all the way up to 12th. He could possibly turn it into a top 10. But again, we don't know how many times he needs to stop. Does he need to stop 2 more times? I'm not sure of the driver change rules. Are you forced to make driver changes? Can you choose not to? So yeah, it's a bit of a difficult call, and I'm not going to put any bets on the fact that he might make it into the top 10. Kreuzer, I think that's pretty much race over for them. It's now very much about damage. They've done the damage already. It's not even damage limitation anymore. It's just, trying to maintain the amount of damage that they've got at the moment.
Yeah, it's just drive around and shout help and see what happens. However, I did promise it earlier. We've just gone under the hour mark now. So here is the number 26 Audi of Phil Vitt as he goes past James Bacon, who's into the pit lane now in the McLaren from 4th place. But Phil Vitt then in the very, very pink and beautiful Audi, which, let me tell you, sounds fantastic. We're going to go for a break for a few minutes. We're just going to stay on board with the Audi for you and let you listen to the wonderful tones. Don't go away from the sim grid. We'll be right back. we'll also turn the volume up a little bit for you here. So prepare your speakers, rip headphone users, and enjoy the Audi. Welcome back then, everybody. We hope you enjoyed the Audi. I'll tell you what, I certainly did. I did sit down for a moment there and just gave it a listen. I mean, it looks great as well. And we rejoined the race then. Gregor Schill is out of sync a little bit with the pit stops here because he's showing in third place. I did see that for a second then, Connall, and absolutely cacked it because I thought, how's he done that? It's amazing.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those things. There's no possible way he could have done it, but still, you've seen Gregor Schill and you've seen what he's capable of, and you're like, oh, well, yeah, actually, maybe it is possible. But yeah, no, Gregor is doing a phenomenal job, and he's still out there. He is still out there. This is over 2 hours. He has been out on track. After the first lap incident. If you hadn't joined us at the start of the race, Gregor was he third on the grid? I believe he was third or fourth. Second for Gregor, so he was up there. He was in the fight for the victory. Got caught up in a big incident at turn coming out of the chicane as he pits now, and this should be the end of what has been a phenomenal stint for Gregor Schill. If his teammate is watching this, or if Gregor's watching this back, my hat is off to you.
And it doesn't get much better than commentary box praise, trust me. Now we've got Stein Evering there, almost looking like teammates, these two Aston Martins there, in the number 180 car. He's trying to let past, though. Where's he gone now? Just trying to find him now. Chaz has gotten confused. It's Dan Long. Now the puns are going to come flying in about this gentleman, I'm sure. Rookie Monsters then out the final corner, doing a great job at the moment, the 446. And we've got another one. This team, honestly, they want to make me laugh. Ryan Yee is in the McLaren. He's taken over from James Bacon, so hopefully he's not going to yeet it into a wall. But I'm sure that the pace will be there because they've done a great job so far in this race. And of course, behind them, at this point, Kyle, Wolf Matuszka is in there as well. And we've seen that he's quick in this Audi, haven't we?
Yeah, we actually thought it was going to be Vicky. No, sorry, that's wrong. Wolf Matuszka in the number 5 in 5th place there in that beautifully pink Audi. It's been a great drive from them as well. They've moved themselves up quite a bit up the field. He's busy chasing down Ryan Yee, but Ryan Yee not in his class at the moment, so no unnecessary pushing needed by Wolf to get himself onto the back of Ryan there. He's already 4th in class. He just needs to maintain his gap to 5th. But great drive from them all round. I see the front of that Audi looking a little bit less battered than what it did, so maybe a bit of repairs done there just to sort out the aero issues they might have been experiencing. He did have a bit of damage from the first part of the race, sorry. But yeah, great race so far. I've enjoyed every minute of it. It really doesn't feel like we've been sitting here for 3 hours, and it really hasn't been that long of a race. We see Igor back in his car, back up to 3rd place after a drive-through and a very interesting opening lap as well.
Yeah, this is another car. The like and subscribe team definitely earning their likes and subscriptions at the moment because it's been a very rough race for them as things stand. The down changes on that Audi, I'm sorry. They do things to me, it's amazing. He's flashed in the lap traffic though. Just in front of him there is the 89 car. That's Colton Rasmussen in 21st place at the moment. He's just going to try and get around the outside at Curva Grande. The Aston not looking like it wants to yield at the moment. Although he's on the grass a bit. Oh, he's not making life easy for the Porsche through there, is he? He does get it done on the brakes though. And, oh, well. And apparently, Jeff Colclough has said in the chat, it's time for Miss Thompson to snack on some anxiety. Here she is, out on circuit. She's had fear for breakfast, it's anxiety for lunch, and then probably it's going to be jubilation for dinner if she keeps this up. 69 laps, nice. 99 car leading from the 991 of Luca Voldelijk. And, well, I'm digging myself in a hole here, but to be honest, Connall, we've seen some very impressive performances so far, but with an hour to go, it can all change, can't it, mate?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, 14 seconds sounds like a huge, unattainable gap, but when it comes to Monza, and what we've seen so far, especially when you're going through lap traffic who are fighting for position, you're fighting these guys, you're trying to fight your way through what is a narrow racetrack, anything can happen as we are on board with Gregor Schill's replacement in the number 888 car, James Parker. So it'll be interesting to see what Parker can do, see if he can carry on that good momentum that Schill had. Max Hacklander, real life driver, doing his stint here, doing a great job in that Audi. There's a lot of love for the Audi I can see in chat actually. So that's good. I'm a fan of the Audi. I'm a fan of pretty much most of these cars, and then I haven't even had the chance to try the GT4, so there's another handful of cars I'm gonna love.
Yeah, the GT4 field, there's such a great variation of machinery there. I watched a lot of the British GT Championship last year. I was quite often in the paddock for the mini challenge that supported it, so I got to know a lot of the drivers and cars in the British GT Championship. And I tell you what, when you see things like the McLaren 570S GT4 and stuff like even, well, what was it now? The R8 as well, the R8 GT4 car as well. That sounds fantastic. When you see that up against the M4 GT4, it just looks like someone's whacked a touring car in the middle of a GT race, because that M4 in comparison, it's like the Bentley in GT3. It's just massive, but obviously it doesn't quite have the same GT car characteristics as the Bentley, so it just looks like someone's put a wing on a road car and just gone, yeah, let's do a track day. It's just brilliant, honestly, absolutely love it.
We've seen that, actually. Myself and Kyle were commentating on the GT4 launch night, and Kyle, we seen Ibrahimi's battle, and he was in the BMW, and the guy he's battling with was in the Porsche, and we seen it. It just looked like a toddler or something was playing with two toy cars and stepped on one.
I was actually. I almost felt like I was watching a bit of BTCC though when I was watching those GT4 boys go at it, because we had 4 or 5 cars side by side going into a corner, two abreast into every corner, positions changing every time they turned left or right. Eventually, we ran out of voice. I mean, you were so high pitched. I thought you were going to break my eardrums at what you say. It was quite an awesome race. One board now with the Andre Felix is up to 10th. It didn't take a long time to move himself up into 9th. But this looks like a great battle. The McLaren and the Aston Martin going back at it. I think different drivers than what we witnessed before, but both cars are back at it again. And the McLaren trying to find his way past the Aston Martin.
Yep, a nice little battle going on here then, front-engined versus mid-engined. And they've got the Bentley as well in the background, but that of course is not for position. Just on the edge of the top 10 though, these two at the moment. Andre Felix in the orange McLaren, very sort of traditional orange is the McLaren. A very good looking car indeed. I'm hoping the end of the race has something really exciting so we can hear Connall go supersonic towards the end of this one. But Andre Felix pulls out to the left hand side. He's going to be on the outside for the first part of the corner, but if he carries the speed well, he's going to be on the inside for the second part of the chicane. Oh, he has to get on the brakes though. Doesn't quite work that time to get past Hannes Nord. And Nord holds on to that top 10 spot. We're going to keep an eye on this though, because this will keep opening and closing quite a lot here, like a badly hinged barn door, as they go down to the second chicane. Great livery on that McLaren as well, really does suit it, the orange. It's nice and bright. The black flashes on that as well, of course. Oh, as he runs wide, and the Bentley, well, he says, this isn't the Paris-Dakar, sunshine, where are you off? The Bentley gets in front then before the Lesmo. I'm sorry.
Chaz, I just want to draw your attention, sorry for interrupting, I just want to draw the viewers' attention to the gap from first to second. Keep an eye on that gap. It has come down almost a second from the last lap. I've just been informed, I was reading through Michael Hamlet, our race director, our trackside reporter. He is giving us great information here. He's monitoring the times. P2, the gap to the lead, taken down 0.4, 2 laps to go, 0.6 the last lap. So there is a charge going on. Will it be enough? 44 minutes and a 13-second lead. Vicky will be seeing that lap time and those gaps coming down. So it's going to be a very interesting last 45 minutes of this race.
He is indeed, and he's also said that Wolf Matuszka is absolutely yeeting it up to the back of Ryan Yee at the moment. The gap is coming down rapid, he says, and it certainly is. So we'll see how this goes then. It was 1 second, just over a second last time, so next time they go past one of the sectors, just to trigger that, we'll see what the gap will be. They've got quite a gap over Tower, who's 11.8 seconds back from Stensnays. But Stensnays, he's going to be hanging in there and just thinking, well, if these guys get into a battle, there could be some very interesting stuff go on here then. And of course, ahead of all this, in the final podium spot, Ogorodnikov is in third place now. 0.8 of a second the gap is down to, so he is really closing here, Kyle. And we've said it about this Audi, this wonderful pink Audi that's definitely caught our attention. These guys, and Wolf especially, has been very quick, and there is a chance of a podium if they have a really good last 3/4 of an hour.
Yeah, you asked me earlier what I thought about what's going to happen towards the end of the race, and I said I don't see a battle with the 4 cars for the lead. And these 3 have said, hang on a second, hold my beer. And they've decided to turn up the heat and possibly turn this into a 4-way battle for the lead of this race. And I did mention Vicky must be a little bit stressed out about taking over the lead of this race. She only had 13 seconds. I think it's down to about 12 odd now. And a little bit of pressure being applied there from second. Third applying a bit of pressure onwards from there. And obviously Wolf in the bright pink Audi having a look on Ryan. Ryan runs a bit deep into the chicane. He would be silly to fight the Audi though. Rather just let him go. He's not in your class. And use him as a bit of a chasing the rabbit to keep your pace up. And keep yourself ahead of Tower there, who's second in your class.
I like that, the Wolf and Rabbit. Yes, I agree. Definitely. He's on the prowl at the minute, isn't he? Is Mr. Matushka. But they both went a little bit deep into that first chicane. I think when you are chasing a car as closely as this, it's easy to let yourself run a bit wide as well, because I think he was sort of trying to match Ryan's braking point. Ryan went very deep, and then Wolf went a little bit deep in there as well. Managed to get it stopped and close the gap up. The gap was 0.3 of a second last time they triggered any of the timing beams on the circuit, so we'll see what Wolf can do, but I think this is going to be a case of when, not if, at the moment for 4th position. And if we just go on a TV camera, you'll see very quickly behind, Stensnace is just there in the Lamborghini. There it is. So that could even close up as well, to be honest, on this one, Connall. So if Wolf's going to get this done, he's got to get it done quickly, hasn't he?
Yeah, and if you're Yi, is this really a big deal? You know, I know a top 5 overall would be fantastic, but when you're thinking with your championship head, you're in the silver class, there's 2 pro drivers behind you. If you do lose these 2 positions, is this such a big deal? I wouldn't personally be fighting it, but racers are racers, and indeed Wolf does get through with very little stress. So it'll be interesting to see how quick as he runs a little wide. Track limit warning, surely. If we are looking at the 2 pro drivers, you would hope, if you were the Lamborghini driver, you would hope that you would be able to get through on E quite quickly. But it's interesting to note that 6/10 covers Stanislas. He is closing. It's official. It's a 3-man group here.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
The gap to the lead, 13.1 seconds. Vicky is doing a great job of stabilising that gap.
And Yi has actually just let Stensnace go through as well, because like he must have heard you and thought, well, yeah, I'm leading the silver class, there's no point me having a fight here. He's got almost, well, he had about 10-12 seconds over Tower in second place in that class. So we'll see what that is next time round. Just waiting for it to update on the left hand side. 11.8 it is, so yeah, nice stable gap, like you said about the leaders as well. 13 seconds between those guys. So we'll have to see whether Joachim, who are on board now, can close up. I mean, it's the battle of the V10s here, Kyle, so I mean, I'm not too fussed who wins, but both of them have done a stellar job so far. The actual Lambo itself, the only Lambo in the race, as I said earlier, has always been in the top 10 from the get-go and been great to watch. But the Audi, the drive through the pack from Wolf Matushka has been brilliant, hasn't it? Oh, we're just
appear to have lost Kyle.
Yeah, I'm not
Sorry,
sure.
back.
Oh,
Sorry, sorry about that. My mistake, but I was saying Wolf set a lot of the fastest laps recently, so it's going to be difficult for Joachim to get onto the back. I mean, Wolf's got a lot of pace in that car. But the Italian-made Audi behind him there in the Lamborghini is chasing hard to stay with him. He actually just looks like visibly closing the gap, but it'll be interesting to see if these 2 can get together without fighting and put a charge onto grabbing the front 3 as opposed to fighting each other.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. We were talking earlier about these guys working together when it comes to trying to progress further up the order. And I reckon now is the time to do that. Because if you want to get up into that podium spot, when you're either of these guys, any little move you make or any bit of defence is just going to slow you down in the long run. So, see what he can do. The gap is barely moving, Michael has said, between the top 2. But this gap between 4th and 5th is definitely moving, because Joachim Stensnace has done a great job here in that Lamborghini. It's close up to the back of the Audi. I'm wondering whether Wolf has ruined his tyres pushing a bit too hard. But one drive we've not seen for a bit though. Luca Vidalic, listen to that, it's just silence. Beautiful silence in the Italian forest there at Monza, but to be honest, Connall, no news is good news, isn't it, for FTW Racing? Forgot to warm up.
Yeah, I'd say so. Cracking team name, first of all, but he's just set his personal best, well, almost personal best by a 10th, 49.5 last lap, 49.4 is the best lap, so he's definitely on the pace. Luca, I think the whole team would be satisfied with this P2, given the depth of competition. They've got, thinking championship-wise, they're in P2. They've got, obviously, championship contenders in front of them. But Parker in the Coach Steve Academy team, he's 11th. We've got Kreuzer, who you'd have to suspect that team is one of the favourites for the championship. He's 15th. So big points on offer here for Luca. Fantastic for the guys as we now are on board with Lucas Kreuzer. 49.4 is best lap time, almost identical to Luca that we were just on board with. 49.6 last lap. I just want to point out on the stream, we've just hit our 95th like. Michael, who has run and organised everything, has given us all the brilliant information that we need. His praise goes a little. We've just hit 96. Thank you very much, whoever that was. Goes a little under the radar, does Michael? I think so. I think his reward would be getting to 100 likes. So if we could get to 100 likes, that would be phenomenal. Thank you very much, guys, for sticking with us in this comedy booth. You've had to endure us for almost 3 hours, but we're getting there. We're getting there. I hope you really are enjoying this as much as we are, because this has been some phenomenal racing.
It really has, and don't forget, this isn't the only one of these either. We've got a 4-round championship for you of 3-hour races. Next one is on the 8th of August at Silverstone. But right now, the battle for 4th and 5th has switched around. I've had Michael going mental in the chat while I was listening to Connall get very sentimental there. And to be honest, Joachim has now become best of the rest. It's the best non-Porsche, and the Lamborghini's up into 4th place. However, its V10 friend is right behind there. But I don't think Wolf is going to be able to do that much. I think he has done the tyres in, really pushing on this stint to get further up the order. Not expecting Joachim to have that much pace, but Lambo doing a fine job. And once again, onto the main straight we go. Just over half an hour of this race left to go, everybody. And I reflect the comments of Connall as well. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves, because we have had an amazing time here. 10th and 11th are close together. This is James Parker on the back of Hannes Nord, of course, teammate of Gregor Schill in the 888 Ferrari. This battle's still going on. The McLaren of Felix, Andre Felix, was battling with Hannes as well before. So we'll have to see how this turns out. Side by side into the Parabolica. He's going to try and carry it around the outside. Oh, something's gone wrong there. He's had a bit of a wiggle. Not quite sure whether that was... Let's have a quick look here. See again. The car just suddenly goes left there, doesn't it, Kyle? It didn't look like it was out of shape or anything, but it was definitely not close enough to make contact. What do you reckon that was?
Yeah, I think it looked like from the first angle there was contact, but it just looked like Parker parked himself there for a second. He had a bit of an oversteer moment on the turn in when he was trying to go in deep on the brakes and go around the outside. It does happen with these cars. It does tend to, the back unloads all of a sudden, especially if you're running into the marbles on the outside. The back will suddenly offload, and when you do go to catch it, you end up overdoing it and giving it too much steering input one way, and it actually just splits the car straight. But a great job to keep it collected. But it looks like Nord has now lost a position to Felix, if I'm not mistaken. There, the McLaren in the bright orange, a favorite color of Bruce McLaren there, the bright orange McLaren getting past the bright yellow Aston Martin in all of that mess. But great job from Parker to get up into the top 10 or have a look at the top 10, but unfortunately he's going to do all the work all over again.
And that's the thing. The great Murray Walker once said, catching is one thing, overtaking, or getting past I should say, is quite another. And right now we have seen that in first hand from Parker. So here is Victoria Thompson then, your race leader, number 99, in the Lilac Pro Spieltrieb car. And, well, I keep saying this team is untouchable. They really have been for this race. It's amazing, really amazing performance. This is Luka Vidalic in second place. And then Igor Ogorodnikov, there's the gap. He's just come into the second chicane. He's 25 seconds back. So the top two really don't have much to lose at the minute by really pushing it. they can of course. So they've got a lot to lose in terms of position, but not the time. That is the Sim RC Porsche just in front there. That is the number 92 car. They've not had the most straightforward of races. That is Dominic Hall, and it's certainly not going to be a haul of points for these guys at the moment. He's right down there in 28th place. Kyle's going to need a very, very strong drink after this one, I think. Here's Dominic Tower, and I'm going to resist making another pun, but he's in 7th position at the moment in car 207. The next car behind him is the other Bentley. Dominic's actually the highest Bentley at the moment, so you could say he's top of the tower. Sam Kearns is 8th in the number 95 Bentley, and then it's Dan Long, who, to be honest, we haven't made any puns about at the moment, which I'm quite surprised at, because we are children at heart, so, well, we'll see whether
Be nice, I made one. Be nice, I made one.
Same here. Don't do it. 10th place, Andre Felix at the moment in the McLaren, and he's going to be thinking now, if Hannes is going to be putting the pressure on from behind and starting a battle, then James Parker, of course, is going to be also closing in. Of course, Michael pointing out that the gap between the top two is now under 8 seconds, so it's getting ever closer between these guys.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what Michael's put in the chat, but it's some swear words. He says he was 2.8 seconds quicker than P1 last time round, so it must have been the traffic at that point, Connall.
Yeah, I really don't know what's going on. It'll be interesting to see Vicky's lap times and see how she is getting on in comparison to Luca. Luca is on the pace. He lost 6/10 to his fastest, his PB there on the last lap, but seems as though he is a lot clearer as we get into these final half hour, and it's down almost to 7 seconds flat. And when you see that gap coming down, you know the pressure's on you, but you do get a tendency to maybe push over the limit, make a mistake, and then that gap comes down even more. So for Vicky, just needs to keep on her rhythm, keep doing what she is doing, because there's still a long way to get 7 seconds in 30 minutes. But at the same time, when Luca is on this sort of form, as we will see the gap coming across the line, it is down to 7.1. We are getting close here in these final stages.
He's just chipping away at it now, is Luca, bit by bit. He's really, really on it though. Fantastic pace from him. Full House Gaming have said making fun of Dan's nickname can get a bit long in the tooth after a while. And he said, don't worry, I know, it's taking every ounce of self-control not to make worse puns than that. And to be honest, I agree. I have to try and rein it in. It's Gilberto Filo in 14th place in the number 44 car at the moment. He's got Lucas Cruiser just cruising up to the back of him. We're getting sick of that one, aren't we, everybody? He's in 15th place, of course, Lucas, after the issues earlier on. A couple of drive-throughs for those guys. It's a bit of a controversial moment of the race, is the fact that these guys have had such hindrances, but it can come from anything, whether that's drive-throughs or... whether that's from not just drive-throughs, but of course, if you're overtaking the track limits or taking that to the next level, let's say, it can certainly add up. Down the straight once again then towards the Parabolica. Keep an eye on the gap at the top though. 7.1 seconds. And look at this as well. Vicky Thompson nearly an entire lap ahead. Oh, that's sideways though through the Parabolica. That was a bit of a wiggle there. Maybe the pressure is starting to get to her a bit. That's certainly showing though. That is car body language reading it as it is. So let's see, where is Luca on the time? See what the gap comes down to. 6 seconds now, so Luca is really closing here, Kyle. This is getting feisty now.
The sweat on the brow under that helmet must be immense. The last time you looked, it was 13 seconds. You look again at your lap board, and all of a sudden it's 6. It's been halved, and you've still got 28 minutes to go in this race. I think with 5 minutes left to go, the panic would still be high, but 28 minutes still to go. The gap's almost halved. Luca doing a wonderful job to possibly have a look at getting himself up into that front position, the winning position, cross the line as the first of the Class A Porsches, because it's just the 3 Porsches out in front at the moment. But to be the first of the Porsches across the line and the first of this entire grid would be an absolute honor in this 3-hour Enduro Championship. There are still 4 rounds left, so a great starting point in the championship. But if I was Vicky, I'd be panicking just a little bit about the fact that this is coming down so quickly. And this is where mistakes happen, either be it from the chasing car, a little bit of excitement because you see that gap close so quickly, or from the car trying to maintain that gap out in front, maybe pushing a bit too hard to increase it or maintain it at that 6 seconds.
Yeah, that's it. The phrase we're going to come back to once again, risk management, is definitely the one, isn't it, in this situation, mate? We do have, though, another guest in the commentary box. Teammate of Wolf Matuszka, Phil Vitt, joins us in the box. Phil, how are you doing this afternoon?
Pretty good.
I bet you're quite excited about this one. You guys have had a really good drive through the field, haven't you?
Yeah, we do. I mean, of course, the car is not the best here in Monza, but and we had a bit of problems in the first 5 laps, a lot of incidents, but Wolf made a fantastic drive, and right now, keeping up with this Lambo is quite an exploit.
Yeah, definitely. And to be fair, we were saying earlier on, like just behind the scenes between qualifying and the race, that you don't really want to be in an Aston Martin or an Audi around here, but you guys are doing an amazing job at that. I mean, the next Aston is Dan Long in 9th place. The next Audi is down in 15th, and that's Max Hacklander, who races this thing in real life as well. So it must be quite rewarding for you guys to see that you're so much higher than the next Audi.
Yeah, and it's not over. We are keeping this Lambo in sights, and in the previous stint, we saw that the Lambo, maybe in the last 15 minutes, was sliding a little more than us. So our feeling is that at the end of the stint, they might struggle a little more with their rear tires. Granted that right now the track temperature is not as hot, so maybe it's not going to be as bad. But we're really hoping that. You should keep watching for the last 20-15 minutes. I think that we're going to gain pace on this car.
Definitely. Well, we've had our eyes on you guys throughout the whole race. We actually had a bit of an immersion break before where we sat on board with the car just as you changed back. But it has been great to watch you guys, and of course you can't really miss it with it being bright pink like that. It looks great. It's a very, very pretty car, mate. I do have to ask though, is it a sort of homage to the BWT sort of Racing Point liveries?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, Wolf is an employee of the BWT racing team.
Oh, right.
And so that's the loyalty to the team. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's fantastic. I like that. It's nice to know there's a bit of sort of story and reasoning behind that. So thank you very much. That's a golden nugget of information. That so very, very grateful.
There you go.
But I'll with 25 minutes left to go though. Like you say, I hope that for your sake, of course, that the Lambo does start to have a bit of trouble with the tyres and that we can see a good battle from it. But before we let you go, Phil, do you want to give a shout out to anybody on stream?
No, to everybody who's watching. We love to have a broadcast. You guys are doing an amazing job, and we're happy to to have the show running.
Thank you very much, Phil. Well, great to speak to you, mate, and enjoy the rest of your race.
Thank you. Take care.
Cheers. What a great guy. And another fantastic personality in the box. We have also hit 100 likes now, Kyle. We finally got there, so we can stop asking. But to be honest, thank you everyone for watching so far and liking the video. And, well, to be honest, Kyle, we've been treated to a hell of a race here, and it's only going to get better and better as these last few laps come up.
Stop liking and stop sharing at 100? No. We're going for 200 here. Let's not mess around.
Yeah.
But absolute great racing going on. I mean, this gap between the first and second, unfortunately, I can't see it on my screen at the moment, but the gap between first and second is, I'm assuming, closing still. So it's going to be a nail-biting finish. 23 minutes left to go. But I can't believe that we've witnessed already 2.5 hours of this race. It feels like I've watched only 25 minutes. There's been action aplenty. Yeah. We haven't had to fill anything in, and we've had great nuggets of information given to us by wonderful personalities that are involved in this race. So just a great experience so far.
It really is, and these Porsches at the front of the pack are getting ever closer. It's 5.8 seconds at the last sector. It's still 5.8 seconds though. So Vicky Thompson now managing to hold that gap. Igor Ogorodnikov is 20 something seconds further down. Thank you very much, AMR Daniel. He says, congratulations on getting 102 likes. Fully deserved after great coverage. We are very grateful for that. My name is Chaz Draycott. I'm on the cameras and the comms. And, of course, Kyle Lawrence as well, doing a smashing job on the commentary as well. We have had to... Connall's had to just go and sort something out in the background. Connall, Courtney. But, again, amazing commentary from Connall on this one. And it's a hell of a lot of fun. And us guys will be working together for you over the Endurance Cup. So, don't forget, you'll be able to listen to us or put up with us at Silverstone on the 8th of August. Here is Brian Yee at the moment in the McLaren. Top McLaren by a couple of places here in this one, Kyle, and we were expecting the McLarens to be strong, but they haven't had anything on the Porsches, have they?
Yeah, I honestly didn't expect the Porsches to be that strong around a circuit like Monza. They're not notoriously known for their top end speed. This is supposed to be a top end circuit, but the Porsches are notoriously difficult to drive as well. So a circuit like Monza does tend to bite you in terms of the curves and the crocodile curves, and that's why they call crocodile curves. They do tend to bite you when you take too many of them or too much of them. But the front three not having any of those issues and doing quite well to maintain quite a large gap over the rest of the field. But I do expect a lot of these car choices to be more balanced over all four circuits as opposed to good at just one particular one. So a lot of these teams choosing a car that is more balanced to them over the all four circuits as opposed to choosing one that works the best for them on a particular circuit. I mean, it would be a weird strategy to do if with more than 2 rounds to pick a car that suits a certain circuit. You want to try and pick something that's relatively consistent throughout. And the McLaren is one of those. That's probably why we see so many of them. The Audi as well. The Porsche is fast pretty much everywhere. But again, it is a very, very difficult car to drive. It does try to ruin your day, with any sort of incorrect input or just slightly running into the corner on the brakes too much or anything like that. It does punish you quite badly. So I expected to see a lot more mistakes from Porsches, but the guys, I mean, the talent in this field is absolutely phenomenal. There's talent all around. We've got talent in Michael in the background, talent in the commentary box, and talent on the circuit. It's just oodles of talent all over the place.
Yep, it's pretty epic. And James Parker, by the way, we have had news that he is passed and into the top 10. We are trying to keep an eye on these battles as best we can, guys, but it does change around a heck of a lot, so please do forgive us if we miss anything. But yes, this car, they have done a hell of a job at the moment in the Coach Dave Academy car. Not that we're biased at all, but they have done a great performance. Interesting what you were saying though about the McLaren though on that one, Kyle, because it was the first car that I tried on Assetto Corsa Competizione as we ride on board with Andre Felix in the sim racing spot McLaren. And you would expect it with such a short nose and obviously not too much weight over the front end. You would expect it to be really pointy at the front, and then you just have to sort of deal with the rear end with the engine and all the weight in the back. But it does really understeer quite a lot more than you'd expect with the weight of the engine. It's probably just pulling the nose up a little bit maybe. But it's a very interesting car to get used to driving. There's a lot more to it than I thought, but yeah, we're certainly flying around at the moment in this one, and Andre Felix is doing a really, really good job in this. Dominic Tower in the Bentley at the moment has his teammate ready for an interview in the box, and that is Jure that's going to join us for this one. Jure, good to see you again, mate. How you doing?
Hello. It's great.
Yeah,
well, my wasn't so great, but yeah, we are catching the first McLaren in our class, so hopefully we can catch him by the end of the race.
Yeah, it's certainly closing up there, and we were saying earlier on in the race that, of course, Ryan, now that's in front of you, was going to be having a bit of an easy ride here, as I do have to sort of change subject very quickly, sorry, because Victoria Thompson now only leads the race by 2.8 seconds over Luca Vidalik, and this is the beauty of endurance racing, isn't it, on this one, yeah, Jure, because it can open and close up so quickly, and you'll think that, oh, it's 3 hours, we've got plenty of time, but when it comes to crunch time in the last half hour, it gets very busy, doesn't it?
That's very much true. I mean, my stint wasn't that great. I was lapping like half a second slower than Dominic is lapping now, and he's catching the car in front like at insane pace. At the beginning of his stint, it was over a second and a half lap. So I'm looking forward to the fight. I hope we can catch him and fight with him, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's certainly getting nice and tense now. But you guys have had a really, really good run in this one. Just remind me though, because I haven't got the grid on. I've not got what the grid order was, but have you?
Yeah,
where was it you started?
21st.
Oh wow! So it was. I thought you were just inside the top 20. But that's a hell of a drive there, that mate. You must be very pleased with that one.
Oh yeah, very much. Dominic is pushing as hard as he can to catch him, and oh god, I'm nervous just looking at his drive.
Yeah, we'll have to see how he gets on this McLaren, because it's going to get closer and closer. 3.5 seconds now the gap, but he needs to get past the lap traffic sooner rather than later. But hopefully they make it easy for you. We do need to crack on with the race lead though, mate, I'm afraid. But before we let you go, do you want to give a shout out to anybody?
Yeah, I've already done, but I can do it again. Shout out to Motodemic community. We are a Czechoslovakian community, so if anything, give a like on the stream. They are doing a hell of a job.
Smashing. Well, thank you very much, Yuri. Good to speak to you again, mate, and enjoy the last sort of 17 minutes of this race.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, the two McLarens there just having a fight behind them, but at this point, Kyle, it's the race for the lead that we've got to keep an eye on. 2.5 seconds, 16 minutes to go. This is just going to get mental.
Yeah, I was saying to you earlier that, you know, the Porsches are really notoriously difficult to drive, and I think that rear end of that Porsche maybe just caught Vicky out in one particular corner, and that's lost her quite a bit of time, down to 2 odd seconds for the lead after 3 hours of racing. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Bonkers, isn't it? And again, it shows you the strength of this field, the beauty of endurance racing, that it can get so close and then it'll really open up. We thought it was a done deal as well, the guys at the front of this pack, but nope, clearly not. And that is there's a Bentley in there as well, having a bit of a play around with these guys. But one of the Bentleys as well, it was Alex Leake earlier. No, this is Josh Cornelius in the Bentley. One of them really has dropped off the pace. I think it's Stavrekeras. Let's have a look a bit further down the order. No, it's not that one. That's is that Wenlock's teammate? I'm trying to remember who was teammates with who now. This is the only thing when you're getting used to a new series.
Yeah, that is Wenlock's teammate, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Alex Leaf is down there. 777 is down in 26th place. They were right up there earlier, so it is still Alex Leaf behind the wheel, I'm afraid. Well, no, I'm afraid. Sorry, Alex. I do apologise. But yeah, it's not quite gone their way there. But this now will go on board with second place Luca Weidelek. And the gap is now 2.3 seconds after 88 laps. That's just crazy. But to be honest, Victoria Thompson's still leading the race, doing a great job. Sparks everywhere from the Bentley, hitting the curb at the Lesmos, running a little bit wide there in the Porsche. But it's car 99 versus car 991. And don't you go anywhere, everybody. This is unbelievable stuff. And the windscreen wiper wobbling with excitement as well.
I love the detail they've put into this ACC. I mean, you've got the windscreen wipers moving up and down as you go down the straight, you know, obviously increasing in the speed that you do. And the way these cars move, feel, and the force feedback from the bumps and the cracks and the surface changes is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, even in terms of the tire degradation, which is what they're going to be feeling now with only 14 minutes left to go, it blows my mind how immersive this whole field is. And I say it often. I mean, we go to the Helicam and I say our helicopter pilot Dave, we've spared no expense in bringing you the best coverage, but it's just it does feel so immersive to sit here and watch, and often I feel like I'm watching a real thing with just far better coverage.
It is crazy. I mean, even that little Allen key bolt in the bottom left of your shot there, everybody, and the flocking on the dash has its own sort of shadow textures and everything. It's just crazy. Really does look stunning, and of course the vents in the dash as well. But the gap is now 2.1 seconds to Luca from Vicky Thompson as we go on to lap 89. Just under 14 minutes left to go, and I'm just having a look to see who else is close in the field. Bosselet and Walter for 19th and 20th look like they were close last time round. They were 7/10ths of a second. Let's just see where they're up to now. Here's Bosselet, and there is Nicholas Walter in the Lexus just behind the 253 car. Sounds epic as well, does the Lexus. big boat chasing down the Porsche. The gap is now up to 1 second there, and in 27th and 28th they're actually close together as well. This is Richard Schaefer. Just behind him is Jakub Jansky, and he's in the other Lexus as well. And in there with them is Wolf Matuszka in the Audi, of course, trying to lap these guys. So hopefully, for his sake, this battle doesn't get in his way as the Lexus looks down the inside into the chicane. He's going to get held up a bit there, though, because he's trying to chase down the Lamborghini that just went out of shot of Joachim Stensnaes, and the Lexus getting out of the way of the Audi there. Or just about. Whoa, that was... Oh, he's actually made contact with him, and he's off in the gravel. I was just going to say, I thought the Lexus got out of the way, but look, he just doesn't slow it down enough, and he stays side by side. The Audi turns in thinking it's safe, and the number 2 car puts him off the road. That's the dangers of lap traffic, I suppose, isn't it, Kyle?
No, that's super unfortunate for Wolf as he's trying to go around the outside of that Lexus. But that's the one problem with coming through lap traffic and people just being unaware of the cars. I mean, he's still dicing with the cars behind him as well instead of just allowing them to go past. He is being lapped. But so Wolf doing a great job to get himself up into 5th and onto the back of 4th place there. They were hoping the Lamborghini was a little bit worse off on tyres than what they were, but unfortunately that whole advantage is now gone.
Yeah, it completely decimates that fight, unfortunately. But we're back on board, though. We are going to stick with this for the majority here, everybody. So I hope you like Porsche Flat 6 noises, because I know that I do, and I do not mind this. But Luca Vidalik is now in 2nd place, 2.2 seconds behind Vicky Thompson. It was 1.9. But this is getting very, very feisty. And the gap for the silver class lead as well is 2.2 seconds. The highest Pro-Am car is actually Rasmussen in the number 89 car down in 21st place. So plenty of daylight between those guys at this point. And we've got Alex Leaf between the car that we're on board with now and the race leader in the big black Bentley just in front there. So as they go through Ascari, plenty of sparks again from the Bentley. That thing is very low to the ground, so it is scraping along quite a lot. Down the back straight then, down towards Parabolica. Sounds great, this Porsche. Really do love it. Hell of a noise. Into the Parabolica. It looks like Alex Leaf's actually got some good pace here, doesn't it, Kyle?
Yeah, that Bentley doing well to maintain with the leader. But I mean, he does have a car, the proverbial rabbit to chase in front of him. But it does look like he's got a decent amount of pace. But I wonder if him being in the way there is going to create a bit of an issue for this chase for the lead. With Luca trying his best, his utmost, to get onto the back of Vicky there. I see he's set another decent lap time, 150.2. Be interesting to know what Vicky is doing in terms of lap time, but he's definitely closed it. Visually, he's closed that gap. It's definitely game on in the last 10 minutes here with of this 3R.
It really is. And to be honest, Luca was a little bit sort of out of shape there through the chicane by the look of it. The back end seemed like it wanted to step out the first part, saved it a bit. The gap is 1.9 seconds though, and that will only get closer, to be honest, because if it's just all it can take is one mistake from either of them though, and it can not end their race, but it'll completely end their charge. So Alex Leaf at the moment, he just needs to make sure that he's not getting in trouble here. He's just running his race, he's doing everything he needs to at this moment in time, and I'm pretty sure that he'll ensure that nothing bad comes of anything with them. There's a battle here between Dan Long, Parker and Felix. This is still going on. Parker's not really got away that much here, and Felix is just behind. We'll go on the rear view camera from the Aston Martin. A humongous wing. Look at those bright yellow wing struts. They look fantastic on this car. Really do like that. Humongous.
Yeah, that wing is quite long, eh? If we have a look back now at Felix trying to chase him down in the McLaren. The New Zealand owner of McLaren, Bruce McLaren, that was his favorite color, the orange. All the original McLarens were painted that color. I actually got the joy of seeing one of his first endurance cars ever produced. It's actually here in South Africa, parked in a workshop in Randburg. We actually got to stand close to that, and you could see the work that they put into it, the rivets and the aluminium. But we're far from that now. We're now into the 2020s, the fiberglass, the carbon fiber, and all the technology and work that goes into these cars to make them run the distances they can. I mean, we don't see the breakdowns as often as we used to, and the safety of this car is actually phenomenal in terms of how they put them together. But on board now with Dominic Tower, he's looking around the outside. This is for the lead of the silver class. He's going to go try around, not close enough there. That we've seen that move happen a couple of times in this race. Sometimes it worked out well, sometimes it didn't, but he's got a good run down the straight now towards the Parabolica, and he could definitely have a look at this McLaren either down the inside or around the outside of this long sweeping right-hander. We saw Parker try the same thing, but unfortunately a little bit too aggressive on the turn-in, lost back, and he's down the inside. It's a bit of a lunge. The McLaren has run wide. It's going to be a drag race down to turn 1, or is this move done and dusted already?
Oh, I don't know, because to be honest, if Yi can... No, he's not actually held on to the overlap there. I was going to say, if he can put it on the outside into turn 1 like he's doing now and hold the speed around the outside and not get squeezed by Tower, he's going to be on the inside for the second part of the chicane, and he could get this done. Let's see what he does. He's going to make Tower take the tight line. Yi is going to be on the inside.
He's bravest on the brakes.
He just has to stop the car almost. Doesn't quite work out for him, and Tower does go through and takes the silver class lead with only 7.5 minutes this race to go. This is fantastic stuff. I'm not going to be able to cope with an entire season of this, but wow, the sim grid does not disappoint, and someone that's not disappointing at the moment is Vicky Thompson, still leading this race. Blue flag in the air there for Alex Leaf. I'm not sure whether Alex will get sort of told off by the marshals for that, because he's holding good pace at the moment, so it's not like he's really in the way at this stage. He's just sort of cracking on and doing what he needs to do. Just trying to see, just having a quick look down the order. So here's your Pro-Am leader, by the way, Colton Rasmussen. It's not made of cotton. Dark blue car, pink highlights on it, nice simple livery on the Aston Martin, and they have quite a gap over Vincenzo Rossetti. They have 3.5 seconds, sorry, 3.9 seconds over the Porsche in the background that's just gone off the circuit a little bit there as well. So
yeah, that looked like Rossetti just running wide there.
Not the most straightforward of drives for those guys at the moment, but we are going to have to look back towards the front though, because the gap now is 1.5 seconds. Click on the right car, Chaz. Alex Leaf has now got out of the way of... I say got out of the way, I just mentioned a moment ago he's not in the way as such. But Luca Weidlich in the Porsche chasing down a very similar liveried Porsche of Victoria Thompson as well.
Oh, that's not going to help his chances, that running wide onto that curve there. That could have gone all sorts of ugly with that Porsche. I think you definitely had to get out of the gas here to stop that thing from turning itself around, but both of them pushing very, very hard on very, very tired tires. So I think they're going to be struggling a bit to maintain pace. And I think the race itself, like you said before, the great Murray Walker once said, it's one thing to catch, but it's a whole entire another thing to pass.
Indeed it is. And the gap now down to 1.4 seconds last time round. 3 hours of racing has come down to the last 5 minutes. This is exactly what we wanted. Tension and action. And I'll tell you what, I hope you all that are watching the stream are really enjoying this one. This has been an absolute joy to commentate on, and it's not over yet. Thank you, of course, to Michael as well, still doing all of his hard work in the background. He is all over it. He's absolutely smashing out the data for us guys in the box, for us to chew it up and make silly puns out of it. But Weidlich, though, got the gap down to 1.1 seconds now. Surely the slipstream will become real now. This is going to get so close here, and Alex Leaf, of course, has got a lot of time to watch this. So the gap was 0.3 of a second difference between the two of them last time, because it was a 150.277 for Victoria Thompson and a 149.932. So Luca is only half a second off his fastest lap of the race at this stage, so he's really unlocked the pace, and to be honest, showing just how quick that car is here on this one, Kyle.
Yeah, I honestly didn't expect these Porsches to be turning out the lap times that they're turning. I mean, we did see 148s from the car of James Parker. He's now driven by the Schill, who's now sitting in 9th place, but look how close it is now. Small mistake from Vicky, and the cars are right on top of each other, heading down towards the second chicane. Victoria's gone. No, that's not the second chicane, but she's gone deep to the inside to try and maintain that move. Are we going to see Luca run around the outside? He thought about the move and bailed out of it. He's still got 3 minutes of this race left to go, so probably 2 and a bit more laps left of racing in this 3 hour. And it looks like after 3 hours of racing, 90 odd laps, and it's going to come down to the last 2.
This is absolutely crazy stuff here. The Team Lilac car Oh, a bit deeper on the brakes there, a bit of a wobble as well. And Victoria's really got the pressure on now. She runs a bit wide on the Parabolica. You can see then the gap is just diminishing slightly. The slipstream is going to help Luca now, but he's not coming from too far back here, so he's not going to get much of an overspeed. He needs to play this safe. We need to really just keep an eye on how Victoria defends this. She really needs to think this out here. Luca's broken at pretty much the same point there. He's just going to give himself an easy line through here. Nearly contact, a little bit of a kiss there through the chicane. But to be honest, Victoria putting the car where she needs to. We've got 2 minutes and 50 seconds left of the race. So there's this lap that they're on now, and then one more. There wasn't much slipstream in that scenario there for Luca. But if he does come from further back, he's going to get more of a slingshot on Victoria here. Just shows his nose down the inside a little bit into the chicane. Nothing doing there. Still nothing out the second chicane. And let's see what he can do. Gets a good run out of there by the look of it. He's not going to look into the Lesmos, or is he? No, he's just showing his nose just to put the pressure on. That's all he needs to do at this point. Because to be honest, it's all about the mind games. Alex Leaf having a drifting contest in the Bentley in the background. But apologies if there are other battles going on that you want to see, everybody. We are keeping our eyes firmly on this lead for the battle for the race lead now. But to be honest, Kyle, I think at this stage Luca's probably just going to play the mind game, sit behind until the very end, and do it into the Parabolica on the final lap. What do you reckon?
Yeah, this is definitely where Luca has been stronger than Victoria throughout the race. I mean, we saw him almost go for a move through here and then down towards the Parabolica. But he's definitely just filling the mirrors. Every time he gets on the braking point, a hard braking point, just filling the mirrors of Victoria there. He's lost a bit of time out of the, I think that's Oscaria, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Lost a little bit of time coming out of there. But look how strong he is on the brakes into the Parabolica, and his mid-corner speed is phenomenal. So Victoria going for the wider line to get on the power earlier, but he breaks it down into the apex, almost V'ing the corner up. And it gives him such a great run down towards the first chicane. This is, to my mind, where he is the strongest. And if he's going to have a go, he needs to have a go here and now. But Victoria, very good on the defense, very deep to the outside. He's definitely close enough to go around the outside of a turn, the first part of the apex, and look for the inside line to the second. He's done that. He needs to brake slightly later than her. She definitely runs into the corner deep. She will run wide and destroy the exit. But they're running onto back markers now with only, I think, this lap and one more to go.
Now, this will be the final lap, though. Only 1 minute left of the race, and it's a 1 minute 50 lap round here now. So this is the final lap of the race for these guys. This is absolutely crazy. We've had the warning from, well, I say the warning. We've had the readout from the crew chief. But Victoria did a good job, actually, though, to be fair. She really recovered in that first chicane and going deep there. Luca's so good on the brakes, but he just ruins the exit a little bit. Victoria's holding on. Fog lights ablaze as well on that Porsche. She's going to be absolutely on it now. And deep into the Lesmo, and he's lost it, and that's going to surely seal it for Victoria Thompson. Luca Weidlich pushing that one bit too hard, and Victoria Thompson is now, surely, when the camera chases her and catches up, she's surely going to have an easy run to the line, and in the background, Luca's gone off again. He's off again in the second Lesmo. The camera's not looking at him, come on. He's managed to recover it, but surely that's going to have burnt out the tyres there. He's got even a white flag. That's just, I think that marshal was insulting him then with a white flag, but that's the pivotal moment in the race there, Kyle.
Yeah, that's absolutely thrown away a possible victory here and handed it to her on a silver platter to Victoria Thompson. The win of this 3 hour ahead of Luca. Whether or not Luca stays ahead of Igor is remains to be seen, but I think he had a big enough gap. But we did see him go off twice in one corner, so anything is possible with only one more corner left to go. We're going to see Victoria come over the line for the win, and Chaz, I'm going to let you take her home.
An absolutely emphatic victory there for Lilac Pro Spiel Tribe. What a fantastic drive for those guys. Led it all the way through once the first few laps had sorted everyone out. FTW Racing, Luca Weidlich. Clap emojis in chat, please, for these guys, because Luca, what a great drive. Igor Ogorognikov finishes in third place, an all Porsche podium here at Monza. And Joachim Stensnace is going to be best of the rest in his Lamborghini. Doesn't quite come home for Wolf Matuszka behind them, but the best of the V10s there doing its job. The Lambo finishing well in fourth place there. And there is Wolf Matuszka. There's green flares all over the place in the background. Looks like the Freche Tricolore have flown over. Wolf Matuszka does a great job. Dominic Tower just 6 seconds back. The best Bentley in there. Brings Cheshire's finest over the line. But what a drive from Victoria Thompson. Dominic Tower, by the way, wins the silver class. I almost forgot then. Ryan Yee just finishing behind him. And Sam Cairns is going to be third in the silver class there. And Hillebrand's got a 130-second penalty. Where's he picked that up from? I wonder if Michael's given us some info on that one. That's a crazy one, that's a massive penalty for him.
Yeah, that'll be a penalty for not serving, I think, a drive-through before the end of the race.
Ah, right,
so that's
I see.
a 130-second penalty for not serving your drive-through before the end of the race. So
Okay.
obviously picked it up right before the end and didn't come into the pits and unfortunately picked up that massive penalty. But winner of the Pro-Am class, unfortunately I can't see that name there, help me out there. It's Colton, not Cotton, correct?
Yeah, Colton Rasmussen for Madhouse Racing NA. Those guys will be very happy with that one. Vincenzo Rossetti is going to be second in the Pro-Am class there in the number 15 Porsche. And it was actually Jack Mills, who has already pulled the car over in the number 25, that has taken third place there. But there is your race winner, everybody. And that is Vicky Thompson in the number 99 Lilac machine. The Lilac Army are out in the chat. What a fantastic race that was. A real treat there. And to be honest, 3 hours of racing for it to come down to that final moment, Kyle. I mean, we knew we were in for a treat with this series and with this race, but wow, that was epic, wasn't it?
I can't believe that after that period of time, that many laps done, and it comes down to a fatal error from the driver in second. But that chase from him to come from Luca, to come from 13 seconds behind and turn it into a race in the last 2 laps is mind-blowing in itself. I mean, and we saw drives throughout the field. Wolf making massive changes, massive drive up in that BWT liveried Audi. Then we had the team of Schill and Parker moving themselves up from last and a lap down into the top 10 to do a little bit of damage limitation and plan for the rest of the championship. We expect them to be fast at every circuit from the Coach Dave Academy. And Lucas Kreuzer, unfortunately, they didn't have it all their own way. And in Sidemax Motorworks, they also wonderful drives from them, fastest laps of the race. So really, really good drives throughout the field and a lot of dices throughout the 3 hours. The first hour of the race just seemed like a sprint race. It was absolutely insane to watch. I loved every minute of it.
It was absolutely fantastic. A hell of a lot of fun as well. And thank you, of course, to the SimGrid for getting myself and Kyle and Connall on this as well. It's been a real amount of fun. So there are your results then. So Porsche is the order of the day here. Top of it was, it's just as it goes away as well. So the results have just changed over because the sessions reset all the way back to free practice. So that's a pain. But Lilac Pro Spiel Tribe winning that one then. And what an amazing result for those guys. They can be very pleased with that one. And just looking quickly down the order just to see, it was the Bentley that won the silver class. And to be honest, Kyle, one of the surprises in that one, it was the actual fact that a lot of the silver cars had sort of taken over the Pro-Am cars in that one.
Yeah, very weird to see. I mean, Silver, you would expect Silver to sit below Pro-Ams, but credit to them, P6, P7, and P8. And battles right up into the last lap. It was absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe that after 3 hours, that's what we got to see. And bear in mind, not only do we have more 3 hours coming up as we go along, we've also got 10 hours coming up as well in the World Cup. So we can expect to see this sort of talent, this sort of driving, these sort of times, and racing right up until the last minute going forward.
Yeah, it's not like this is just a one-off as well. It's absolutely brilliant. We're getting some very good praise in the YouTube chat for the stream and the commentary, so thank you very much, guys. Really do appreciate that. My name is Chaz Draycott. Kyle Lawrence has been joining me as well on this one, doing a smashing job. As always, same can be said as well, of course, for our colleague Connall Courtney with the alliteration of a god. And, we've got a couple of guys that are looking for an interview at this point, and, I'll tell you what, the best people that we can bring in to start and speak to at this stage, Victoria Thompson, Sami Ibrahimi, and Chris Hoker join us. Guys, you must be over the moon with that. That was an epic performance.
What a finish, huh?
Yeah, that was just, it was so close. We didn't know it had actually come down to a mistake in the end, but, I mean, what were you feeling in the car there, Victoria, just towards the end of that race? I imagine you were quite nervous seeing the gap come down that quickly.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, I did it. It was quite interesting behind the wheel. I feared sometimes that the other Porsche could get me, but defending was good, fighting was good, and in the end, both made a mistake, but mine was not so big, I would say. So yeah, good race.
Yeah, it was certainly a great drive. And Samir, that first stint from you, I mean, you flew away from the field once you got to the front. Was it just a case of head down and get on with it? Because it was quite busy behind you.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, heavy. It was quite heavy to do because I had to fuel save a bit, so switching the engine maps and so on. But I tried to push like hell, no matter what engine map. And yeah, as I saw that the gap was like 4 seconds or so, I settled down a bit because that was our goal for the first stint. And then I saw that P2 got a drive-through, and yeah, I thought we are on the safe side, so I pushed a little bit more. To the end of the stint, the tires died a bit, so the pace was a bit down, but yeah, in the end it was a great stint, and I was happy to get the car to Chris in such a good position.
Well, it was a great way to start the race off, and of course, Chris, when you took over as well, there was quite a lot of traffic around at that point, and you would think with the amount of straights that you have at Monza that getting through traffic would be easy, but it didn't seem like that was the case.
Yeah, very true. I mean, given that we have the Porsche, and everybody knows the Porsche is a little bit, kind of BOP in terms of top speed. Yeah, so it was had some hairy situations, I have to say, in terms of traffic sometimes. But all in all, also my stint was very, very good. Great pace, great car, and we did a lot of strategy work with the team. Yeah, when to switch to which fuel map, etc. So what's quite interesting. And yeah, but to be honest, also still nerve-wracking finish, I have to say. Yeah, kudos again to my teammates. Great job done, guys.
Yeah, it was a beautiful drive from all of you. You all had different things to deal with at different points of the race, and it showed a real strong team performance from you all, and we're very, very pleased for you. And of course, a great way to start off your championship. Before we let you go though, guys, I'll start with you, Victoria. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to on stream?
Of course, I want to thank my teammates and also the sponsor for everything. And I would like to also say a very nice warm hi to the Coach Dave Academy guys. I think they had not the best race in the beginning, but the pace was awesome, and I hope to fight next time with them.
Smashing. And any thanks from you as well, Samir?
Yeah, as well, the Coach Academy guys, because yeah, James is a longtime friend of us, so yeah, next time it goes better for you guys.
Smashing. And last but not least, Chris, anyone you want to give a shout out to, buddy?
Yeah, thanks to my wife for always supporting me so much, and of course also to our Lilac friends and the Coach Dave friends, yeah, whom we missed this time a bit, fighting for the podium, but you will be strong back next time, guys.
Brilliant stuff. Well, thank you very much for joining us in the box, guys. Well done on taking the first win of the championship, and we will see you at Silverstone.
Yes, guys, looking forward. Thanks.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Smashing stuff then. Very, very good to speak to those guys, Kyle. And, well, we have someone that was very, very exciting to watch all the way through that race. If I get my words out. Wolf Matushka joins us in the chat. Wolf, you must be quite pleased with that. That would look like a very entertaining race from your perspective.
Oh, hell yeah, it definitely was. You've got that right. Yeah, you guys know we started in P20 and then someone lost connection, so we gained a spot in the grid on the formation lap. So starting P19 on the outside of T1. I got very lucky on the first like 5 or 7 laps. I don't remember exactly, but we gained a hell of a lot of places. Ended up in P8 very early on.
Wow.
Then we wanted a bit too much. Lost a bit here and there. Got turned around. I think P12 or P10 is where we pitted for the first time, and yeah, just crawled our way back up. We always had some overtakes to complete. Always had to manage traffic and hope thank God that the car was all right with only a few seconds of damage. So yeah, tough in the Audi, but it was a lot of fun.
Well, it certainly stood out there, not just because it was pink, but you guys were putting good moves on everybody, and it was a very exciting one to watch, to be honest. We go to Silverstone on the 8th of August. How confident are you going there? Is that a track you enjoy?
Oh, definitely a track I enjoy. We actually have to see and figure out a way to do that race. Not sure if we can attend, but yeah, the Audi is decent. I has a very good flow to it, and yeah, hopefully the good front engine cars won't run away. And always the Porsche is very strong, so it will be tough.
Well, we hope it goes well for you, Wolf. Just before we let you go, though, mate, do you want to give a shout out to anybody on stream?
Oh, not really. Thank you. Obviously, yeah. Thank you to Phil. He helped again with setting up the car. Last calls just before the race started on some of the setups stuff. Car felt great, so kudos to him and thank you for that. Yeah, thank you guys for the stream.
Not a problem.
That's it.
We hope if you watch it back, you enjoy it. I was certainly a fan of your car as well, so you'll see that throughout the stream. But thank you very much for joining us, though, Wolf, and we will see you at Silverstone, mate.
Goodbye. See ya.
Honestly, such great people in this series, aren't they, Kyle? They're all so friendly, and you can tell they've enjoyed themselves.
I was just about to say that. I mean, it's not very often in a driver's interview you hear guys talk about other teams and how they look forward to seeing them back up the front and fighting with them. I think it's just the atmosphere of the SimGrid in general. I mean, this is not the only split. There are quite a few splits, and the SimGrid.com it caters for drivers of all pace and all speed and all experience. And I think that's what Dave and Michael are working hard to create, and a lot of us that are involved in it. I mean, we're all here and we're all enjoying it. But it's creating such a wonderful vibe and really bringing it to people who want to get involved in sim racing as well as in the ACC. I mean, I heard stats of something like 2,500 people are involved or registered in this SimGrid, and it's the majority of the ACC competitors at the moment. So great job to all the drivers, great talent showing off, and just a wonderful atmosphere to be part of.
It really is. It's smashing. Really is smashing. And someone that we will drag in is Joachim from the Lamborghini that finished P4 at the end of the race. Best of the rest. The best car that was not a Porsche. Joachim, welcome to the booth, mate. How did you find that one?
Thank you. Yeah, best of the rest I think is a good way to put it. At least from our perspective. Yeah, that was an intense race. We were coming into this one actually thinking the Lambo would be pretty good, and I think it definitely did have the upper hand on a bunch of cars. But yeah, just there's no way. At least I wouldn't be able to make this Lambo drive at the pace those three Porsches at the front were. They were absolutely rocket ships. But we had some good fights throughout the whole race.
Yeah, the very bright pink Audi was filling your mirrors for a lot of that last section. The times were going up and down quite a lot between you, though. You really were swapping lap times with them. What was the last stint like from your view?
Sweaty. Yeah, it was. As I took over the car from Jordy, my teammate, after the very first stint, I was struggling quite a bit, like halfway through that stint, and I had a little bit of a moment in turn one with a bunch of lap cars that really couldn't figure out where the hell they were going. So I was very frustrated for the remainder of that stint. So after getting out for that second stint, I think I catched up like 5 seconds in the pit stop somehow. Probably just hitting the marks, but yeah, I was getting out then, and I saw the bright pink Audi up in front of me with Wolf in it, and another I think it was McLaren. Yeah. They were fighting a little bit, and I saw the chance and just put the pressure on. But yeah, it was hard. Like I got past him, and it was just such a struggle trying to get away from him. I really pushed to try and get the gap, and then I did get a gap at long last, and I sort of pulled away a little bit. For the last little bit, I could cruise, but yeah, that was a really good fight. That was really good.
And that's the thing with these sorts of events as well. It may be a long race, and a lot of people go into these races with quite a relaxed mindset, thinking that, you know, I can just chill for a bit of it. You don't have to be on 100% all of the time. But when battles like that are going on, you really can't afford to let off at all, can you? You have to be on it.
Nah, it was a bit especially difficult. I felt like for the first 5 or 6 laps, I was just making some quite big mistakes, and like twice I almost put in the wall in a Scari. So I was like very annoyed with myself and so on. But yeah, just having to focus for that. It's pretty tough, but yeah, it's awesome when it works out and everyone's respectful. You can bang doors a little bit, but yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, it certainly looked enjoyable from up here as well. I mean, there were times when we were a bit jealous that we weren't driving as well, but to be honest, that's why we talk about motorsport and don't drive in it, because we're terrible. Well, I'll speak for myself. I'm sure Kyle's better than I am. But to be honest, though, it was great to watch you out there, Joachim, and of course, well done on the P4. We go to Silverstone.
Thank you.
When is it? 8th of August. We go to Silverstone. Are you looking forward to that one?
Wait, is it Silverstone next? I thought it was Nurburgring. Oh, it is Silverstone.
Yes, yeah, Silverstone on the 8th of August,
yeah.
mate.
Well, I am looking forward to that. I think, yeah, Silverstone's a fun track. I recently did a 12-hour race there. Yeah, but that's going to be interesting in the Lambo, I think.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a bit of a technical one for the Lambo, but should be fun to watch. Just before we let you go, though, mate, do you want to give a shout out to anybody on stream?
I mean, I gotta give a shout out to my teammate Jordy. He was like, that first stint was very, very intense, and considering like he was so pressed for time for this race, the fact that he actually managed, like, even with a bit of rough laps and so on. I think we even had a small incident with that pink Audi there, but yeah, he pulled it through, and yeah, we survived the first few laps. So yeah, just a shout out to Jordy. He was doing a great job.
Smashing. Well, great to speak to you, mate. Very well done on 4th place, and we will see you at Silverstone.
Cheers, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers. And well, one final interview here, Kyle, to bring in. I'll leave you in the very capable hands with Mr. Hamlet then for this one. Michael has been doing all of the race control and all of the info for us, but take it away, boys.
You can hear me all right.
Yeah.
I think I've lost my voice from screaming while I was muted. I was watching the final lap.
Yeah, that was intense.
What a finish that was.
Absolutely brilliant. I must tell you, absolutely brilliant.
I cried a little bit. I think I let out a tear when Luca lost it on Lesmo.
Yeah.
Because it was just for what, an hour? It was looking like this was going to be the battle that we wanted all the way up to the final lap, and then that happened.
Yeah, it was mad how it
brilliant
actually,
race.
It sort of stayed quite stable for a little bit, didn't it? And we didn't think the gap was going to close that much, but then it just started chipping away at it in that last hour, like you say. And, I mean, without that mistake, I mean, we all know how difficult the Lesmos are. It just looks like a pair of 90-degree right-handers, but it's not, because of the camber and the braking zones and how long Lesmo 1 is. It's easy to just adjust the car on the brakes and have it go around. And then, of course, he had the issue on Lesmo 2. But if it weren't for that mistake, do you think he would have got it done? Because Victoria was defending very well.
She was defending really well. The defence at T1, both times, on the penultimate and the last lap, really good line for defending. Going deep and preventing any cutback. Whether we would have got it done, hard to say. The key would have been the run out of Ascari and then the final run out of Parabolica.
Yeah.
Judging by how well Vicky was defending, I think she would have still held on. I think she would have just held on because she was defending so well.
Watching Luca out of Ascari, though, I mean, the first few laps before that, he was so strong out of Ascari, and he was really all over the back of her going into the Parabolica, and the lines are very different going in there for the two of them. So, I mean, he lost a bit of time, and I think that's why he made that mistake into Lesmo 1. I mean, Lesmo 1's blind. You can't even see where you're supposed to get on the power. You're kind of guessing, is it now or is it later or where is it? So I think just getting a little bit excited and trying to find the time that he lost in the previous two corners on that corner on Lesmo is basically what cost him the race. But I mean, I said with just over an hour to go, yeah, I don't think we'll see a battle at the front unless there's any mistake.
You ate your words, Kyle.
And then everybody's like, hey, hold my beer. Watch this, boys. Watch this. And I was like, no, I can't. These guys, I can't.
I'll tell you what, though, they Luca and Nico's teammate, they should be happy. They still got P2. You know, 2 mistakes on both Lesmos on the final lap. And the gap to P3 came down to about, I think, 3 seconds. But they held on to P2, and I mean, P2's big points. And, you know, a 4-round championship, 3 rounds to go. I mean, the championship's far from over. So, and the way the points are set, you know, even, you know, the Coach Dev Academy team finishing down in 9th, you go, well, you know, that's still big points. They're still in contention. So, I think they should be proud of themselves. Gutted, I'm sure, that they didn't get a chance to take P1 or, you know, really fight it on the final lap. But P2 is a great result. I'd be chuffed with that if I was driving.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was a good recovery in the end, and there was a couple of teams that did that. They had a very, very strong recovery drive towards the end. But either way, an epic race. And of course, thank you for all the information that you gave us throughout that one, Michael. It was an absolute pleasure. And of course, great to work with you boys again. Just final words though before we go though, Kyle. It's a proper treat that on it. There's no other words for it really, I don't think.
I don't think there's much to add. I mean, we've harped on for the last 3 hours about how fantastic the guys in the SimGrid are and how talented they are. If there is anybody out there watching the stream or wants to test their mettle in the sim world, I think this is the place to do it. Definitely the place to come and see if you do have what it takes to be a front running sim driver. And hopefully we see more people joining up as we go along and join onto the simgrid.com. And we just see more and more talent coming through and more talent driving. I'm absolutely blown away by the level of professionalism with all the drivers and the level of professionalism throughout the entire SimGrid. It's just been a phenomenal experience.
It really has. It's been epic to watch and epic to be a part of. Thank you everybody that has watched. Thank you everyone that's liked the stream as well. And we hope that we will see you all on the 8th of August for Silverstone. However, it is Team Lilac and the Lilac Army that lead the way then after the first round of the championship. My name is Chaz Draycott. Kyle Lawrence and Connall Courtney have been joining me with Michael Hamlet as well, giving us the information in the background. Thank you very much for joining us and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.